Welcome back, everyone. We are getting ready to jump on into our second series of the day. 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 taking on the undefeated Cerberus. Earlier on, we saw 𝘀𝗀cie beating Team Flash in a 2-1 win. And 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 now sit one game behind 𝘀𝗀cie in the race for fourth place, the final playoff spot. Of course, they've got a game in hand. That game just happens to be against the best team in the league. Marby, 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 are in a tricky spot.
Yeah, but it's not on doom and gloom, of course. The Buffalo do have they've been able to snatch quite a few games over the course of the split, even from some of the top teams, being able to grab some from 𝘀𝗀, for example, from 𝘀𝗀cie as well. But coming up against this one, I think we're going to sort of see them tested. It does depend a little bit on what Cerberus, how they want to play it out, but generally going off from what we've seen, Buffalo are going to have to rely on sort of maybe being able to sort of hit Cerberus in the early game, because if Buffalo are ahead by 15 minutes, they tend to win, but if they're behind, they're just gone.
And Tim, one of the strongest points for 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 has been 𝘁𝗲𝗔 in the top lane. We saw an incredible 𝘁𝗍𝗆 performance from him not too long ago. And arguably, the weakest part of Cerberus is Pun in the top lane, who has had some questionable performances from time to time. Are you expecting this to be a top versus bot game? And 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 saying, look, we know we can't beat Artemis. You do your thing in the bottom lane, Cerberus. We're going to get 𝘁𝗲𝗔 fed.
I think that's definitely a win condition, but like looking at this team, like looking at 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀's performance or their potential, I would say, they're surprising to me that they're on the middle of the pack team. Because if you ask me what bot lane I would want to throw at Cerberus bot lane, I would probably tell you Shogun and 𝘁𝗀𝗆. I think they're probably one of the stronger bot lanes still. Haven't always been performing up to the standards, and they've been swapping AD carries, which I find a bit weird because Shogun definitely was the better performing one of the two. So I hope they're playing him today, but with a strong bot lane and a strong top lane, they should be able to hold their own much better, but they had some mixed performances, and I'm just interested to see if the bot lane can hold their own and if 𝘁𝗲𝗔 can really abuse the top lane.
And arguably, 𝘁𝗆𝗆 is the best support in the league as well, Marby. Artemis and 𝘁𝗆𝗆 as a bot lane duo would be a very scary thing to witness. One thing I do want to touch on, and Rebel isn't here, so we are safe, is talking about 𝘀𝗀𝗆, because 𝘀𝗀𝗆 has had the mixed performances, but one thing Rebel has talked about as 𝘀𝗀𝗆's biggest and most loyal fan, apart from when he's busy fangirling 𝘀𝗀𝗆, is if 𝘀𝗀𝗆 can get a lane where he gets some resources towards him, a lane where he's not playing Galio and having to constantly roam to assist his side lanes, he can actually out-CS his opponent, he can actually generate a lead.
Yeah, but I think the big problem is not necessarily that, is kind of that 𝘀𝗀𝗆 isn't necessarily getting these matchups, and not just that, he's not, even if he is getting these matchups, he's usually not able to deliver on them. He's had that one early game at the start of the split that's like, yes, 𝘀𝗀𝗆, he's doing the thing, but since then, yeah, he's been really lackluster, hasn't really been able to be that carry. So we have seen, we have heard Rebel go off about this, but he kind of wants 𝘀𝗀𝗆 to go support his jungler, who is flailing a little bit without that support. 𝘁𝗏𝗀 in spring was like, it was play through 𝘁𝗏𝗀. Get 𝘀𝗀𝗆 to assist 𝘁𝗏𝗀 and let him control the jungle matchup. That's not happening anymore. 𝘁𝗏𝗀 is not able to do that consistently. Sometimes he's just straight up invisible. Sometimes he might as well. He'd probably be more used to his team if he just disconnected. It's been a huge letdown. It's been a huge letdown, this split from him, but he's but like, yeah, sometimes he looks good. Sometimes it's like, yes, that's the guy. That him. Can we get him more? But other times it's just shocking.
And to be honest, Tim, when we talk about the jungle or jungler performances over this split, and you look to essentially who's been the worst jungler over the split, you're probably looking at 𝘁𝗏𝗀 and Dante. You look at who's the best jungler of the split, probably looking at Ego and Levi, maybe throw in Penguin there or Killer Queen as well. But Ego is definitely kind of in that conversation of being one of the best junglers. If 𝘁𝗏𝗀 has any point in this split had the opportunity to step up and show exactly what he's capable of, bring back that spring split performance. It's now from here until the end of the split, because if 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 can beat 𝘀𝗶𝗵, if 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 beat 𝘀𝗀 on Sunday, they confirm their spot into playoffs, and the fate is still in their cards, right? Or in their hands, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they should be able to beat both these teams, then I think they're a clear contender for playoffs, right? Like, if you beat them back to back, that would be a huge boost to morale as well going into playoffs. And I mean, the jungle question I think is a interesting one, because I think 𝘂𝑦 is a very good jungler, but he has those games where he's literally useless. Where what was said before about 𝘀𝗰𝗋, it would be better for him to disconnect. Yes, the same is true for 𝘂𝑦. He has less of those games, but he definitely has those. And I mean, if 𝘀𝗋𝗋 can find 1 or 2 really good games and abuse maybe 1 or 2 bad games from 𝘂𝑦, I can easily see the series going towards Saigon as well. It is not going to be easy at all, but I think especially your side lanes are your strength. Your bot lane can hold their own, especially if Shogun is playing. And your top lane is probably the stronger lane. My big question is the mid jungle, though. I think 𝘀𝗧gy has, if you ask me right now, who would probably be one of the worst mid laners in the league, 𝘀𝗧gy would be in the conversation for me. I think whenever he is on supportive champions like Galio, like TF, he's not finding CS, and he's running around the map confused. And whenever he is on laning champions, I would say like LeBlanc or even a Victor, he's basically non-existent on the map. So he either has farm or is on the map. He can't do both. And he kind of has to find a way to be both impactful on the map and still keep up with farm.
Well, it's a big opportunity for both the mid laner and the jungler of 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 to step up in what is arguably their toughest match of the split. Something else that I do want to touch on is we've been talking about a little more than a little, about our hatred of 𝘂𝑦. You look over at 𝘂𝑦, or as it's showing on the screen, 𝘂𝑦, he is one of 𝘂𝑦. He is the best 𝘂𝑦 player in the VCS. He's got 8 games on the champion. He's got a lot of wins on it, although arguably that is due to 𝘀𝗶𝗵 performing well. We're playing on the live patch also. 𝘁𝗵𝗆, do you think 𝘀𝗶𝗵 pick up the 𝘂𝑦 once again?
I think it depends on how 𝘀𝗶𝗵 wants to play it. We saw when they came up against 𝘀𝗀, they came in with a completely different style to what they'd shown in like the series before that. We saw 𝘂𝑦 back on job and playing fully for his team, not playing these selfish junglers and going walkabout. And it was fantastic. 𝘀𝗶𝗵 looked so damn good. So yeah, maybe 𝘀𝗶𝗵 are going to take it easy and just say, we're going to try to win. We want to win, but keep the undefeated streak going. But we're not going to put our all into it like we were against 𝘀𝗀. We're going to play a few more fun things. We're going to play the 𝘂𝑦. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. Seeing if things like the Jinx ban and stuff means we might get to see some more fun stuff out of 𝘁𝗏, maybe a 𝘁𝗏. But I mean, I'd like to see 𝘂𝑦 just do whatever he wants, really. He can kind of get away with it. The rest of his team is just so good.
Tim, I'm loving the extra letters at the end of all of the champion names. It's rather entertaining. But we've got this Caitlyn first pickup, and we were talking about how the Caitlyn got a little bit nerfed because of the changes to the lethal tempo rules.
Yeah, she is a bit nerfed, but I think she's still playable. Yeah, and I love the pickup because I think Artemis has really been performing insanely well on this champion. He's basically 1v2 lanes on Caitlyn, and it is a strong laner into him to suppress him further. You might not win with Caitlyn into Artemis, but if you can keep Artemis down, it's a huge win for your team. And on the other hand, we do see 𝘂𝑦 on one of these aggressive early game junglers. They were hovering in the grave, so I was a bit afraid because I wanted him to be on something aggressive. And once again, we see the Victor versus Ryze matchups, and I think Ryze is one of those champions that 𝘀𝗀gy in specific can show that he can both farm and move around the map, because that's basically Ryze's identity. You clear the wave very quickly and then you move around the map, you use your ultimate, you use your good point and click CC to make sure that your team can get ahead, and I think that is what he has to show together with the 𝘂𝑦 that I don't particularly like. I think it's too slow for the VCS meta, but we're still seeing it.
𝘀𝗀, indeed. We talked a little bit about the 𝘂𝑦 𝘀𝗀 is one of the other 𝘂𝗀 players that we have in the VCS. 2 games on the champion, no wins. And against Cerberus, to pick up that opening win on 𝘂𝗀 is going to be a tall ask. But with this 𝘚lister lock-in, we're seeing Cerberus banning away some of the counters to it in the lane, some of the champions that would work particularly well with the Caitlyn, like the Morgana. And I wonder if the Lux will be banned. No, it's going to be the Leona Mark.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up against Caitlyn, you kind of know we're going to lose the lane anyway. So we're going to get Ron Peter just evacuate, pick Artemis something he can just sort of try and 1v2 the lane on and be safe. He's going to be fine. He'll do that on just about anything. There'll be an R5 AD carry, just mark my words. So yeah, 𝘀's going to go scale into the late game, gives them a nice engage option. There's the Renekton for punt, because of course it is.
Yeah, but it makes, like... Okay, so you want to pick the Renekton away, I guess, from 𝘁𝗔𝗏, but... Like, why do you give double counter pick? Like, you could have just picked AD carry and counter picked up. And
because they wanted to see the support. So Artemis can pull out some weird crap like the 𝘁𝗏 or the Vayne or whatever the hell he wants. That's what they do! Artemis is just so good, you give him final pick!
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I think
Tim's not a believer in the power of Artemis right now. And
no, I'm absolutely a believer in the power of Artemis, but I just think that
spot.
That is a Poppy sport, and that Poppy is a minor counter against this 𝘚lister. It also counters the Lee Sin potential engage as well.
And the Renekton. I mean, Poppy, really interesting pick here. It enables you to play actually stuff like the 𝘁𝗏, for example, because it isn't too offensive, and that is crazy. But
Who picks Samira into Poppy support?
Yeah, that I mean, okay. So I'm a believer in Artemis, but I think that is it. Like draft-wise, like this might work, but into Poppy and into Ryze, like Ryze is gonna rip you a new one, like whenever you get close.
Yeah. My man's
this is... You playing to Caitlyn?
Oh, man.
So, something else I want to bring up. I just want to quickly bring this up. This is the first Samira game of the VCS Winter Split.
Yeah.
And of course, in traditional fashion, it's Artemis playing it. It's also Artemis' 13th unique pick this split. 13. He's played 13 different ADCs. There's only been like 5 strong ADCs over the course of the split.
Yeah, look, Artemis will play whatever the hell he wants, and I think this is kind of him saying that. He looked at the patch notes and went, oh, they said they buffed Artemis. They buffed Samira. No, they didn't. They just made it so she works with lethal attempt. Okay, they kind of buffed her ult a little bit, but it's not a big one. It's not going to help you out against this Poppy Ryze duo.
I have a question.
I've also got another stat. Oh, sorry, go on, Tim.
Yeah. Like, Samira has, like, there's basically 4 CC spells, right, in the game. Like, there's the Sin Kick, which it's a kick. You have, like, you have the W from Victor, which is, yeah, I'm gonna leave those two out. And then you have Renekton Stun and the combo from 𝘚lister. Renekton Stun is really unreliable, especially on 2 champions like Ryze and Caitlyn. And then the 𝘚lister combo is countered by Poppy. What exactly is the setup for Samira in teamfight?
I really
Cerberus
don't know.
throwing draft. What? Did a cat just fly across your screen, Marby? What is going on?
Yeah,
Then again,
it's Artemis, and if any champion can 1v5 games when fed, it's Samira. Yeah, it's Artemis. Like, Artemis wants to 1v5, right? And like Samira is the 1v5 solo queue champion. Like, it is the embodiment of going 1v5. So there's always a chance, but I still think if this works, this is just Artemis being broken as a player.
Let's not also forget as well. I just want to quickly throw this in, Marby, and get your thoughts on it. We talk about the lack of engagement potential for Cerberus, which I 100% agree with, because the 𝘚lister combo just gets denied if 𝘁𝗏 is positioned well on the Poppy, and we know how good 𝘁𝗏 is at denying engages. See 𝘁𝗏's 𝘚lister play in the top lane against whoever that was. But if Cerberus can get ahead, and they've got the better lanes to get ahead in the mid and the top lane, especially with Pun on this Renekton, all of a sudden, if Cerberus can get priority in River around objectives, it's on 𝘁𝗀𝗏𝗶𝗹𝘀 to walk into Cerberus. Cerberus don't have to engage.
Yeah, it's true. That is always a factor. If you can get an early lead and then convert that into lane pressure, especially if you're going to have this jungle advantage early on with the Lee Sin against the Viego. Yeah, Cerberus could just set it up so Buffalo has to walk into them. Then the Samira wind wall effect actually works out quite well against, say, the Poppy. I believe that works. Like the Poppy ultimate to sort of eject someone out. I don't know. I haven't actually played that matchup very often, so I've never seen it. But I mean, again, and Poppy does shut down the headbutt pulverize, of course, but it's not perfect at keeping Aster out. If the man's tricky, he can hex flash over a wall. He can just regular flash into you every 5 minutes or so. So yeah, like the options are still there for Cerberus. It does become a lot harder with this pop pick, and it's fantastic if it works.
Okay, well, Tim, 𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀, judging from what you've been saying, I think you're both on the side of the Saigon Buffalo draft.
Yeah, and I have another point. You talked about what happens if Cerberus has priorities and can get their hit early. They shouldn't have priority bot lane at all. Like, it's Caitlyn lane.
Agreed.
You get stomped. Mid lane, Froggy should have priority at least until Victor upgrade, which is probably like level 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. And 𝘁𝗔𝗾 should stomp top lane, like in the 1v1. Easily get priority. So you have triple priority for Saigon Buffalo.
Yeah.
In that case, I take it all back. I was thinking Renekton, good early game, but I forgot that it was a counter pick of the Gnar. So, yeah.
I mean, it's like, I would usually say Saigon Buffalo should win this, but I have literally no trust at all in them, or I have way too much trust into Cerberus, I guess. Yeah. And I'm saying it's VCS. They have the much worse team comp, and they're Cerberus, so they're probably still going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there are 3 pushing lanes, but you have to question Buffalo. You do have to question Buffalo and then look towards 𝘁𝗀 and say, can he take advantage of this? Can he see them pushing in, trying to shove, say Froggy's trying to shove Yado on the tower, just gets collapsed on by a Lee Sin, and boom, that's accelerating a Yado to his upgrade, and that means Froggy's priority is just gone now. Or does 𝘁𝗀 get over 𝘁𝗀, try and get too aggressive when the Mega Gnar form, and then bam, 𝘁𝗀's there to collapse on the mini Gnar. These things can happen if they're too aggressive and they're not warding out properly, and I think it comes down to 𝘁𝗀 tracking 𝘁𝗀 especially, and that's the most important thing, to make sure these pushing lanes aren't punished.
And going back to that pun point about, or the point about pun on this Renekton, 67% win rate on the champion, and usually pun finds himself behind in the early stages of the game. And we touched on it as well in the build-up to this game, about how pun is arguably the weakest member of this Cerberus team. If Saigon Buffalo want to punish any particular player, any particular champion, well, it's punishing pun, and they've got the counter matchup to do it, 𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀.
Yeah, I mean, pun's the weakest because, like, somebody has to be the weakest, right?
Yeah.
And pun...
the strongest.
Yeah, and pun sort of fills that role quite comfortably because, yeah, he's their weak side player. He sort of gets beaten around Elaine a little bit, but he does shine in the team fights, and we often see him on these tanks and stuff. The Renekton's sort of hits that. He plays the same sort of role. He gets beat up in lane, then all of a sudden he's in the back line causing a lot of havoc for the enemy team. So, yeah, I think you can look to punish pun, but I'm worried that you can invest a lot of resources into pun and it still won't actually keep him out.
So just a reminder to anyone who is tuning in for the first time today, we are on the live patch, so there is a slightly longer delay from picks and bans to jumping into game due to the 3-minute spectator delay, but we should be heading into game momentarily. Tim, you've briefly outlined a win condition for Cerberus, but I feel like you've just outlined the win condition that you could say every game for Cerberus, which is Artemis go 1v5. I want to know more specifically with this draft, how can Cerberus get a lead? How can Cerberus take this game if you remove the nameplates from the players?
If I remove the nameplates and expect them to be good players on every position, there isn't a win condition.
Oh.
Like I'm
Fair enough.
literally at the point where maybe your win condition is like 4-item Victor one-shotting somebody randomly. It's like the team comp, I like the draft, I think, is so bad that I don't see a win condition. They're losing every single lane. They have a 𝘂𝗀 who, if like 𝘂𝗀 is bad if he doesn't have pushing lanes and if he can get invaded and has to constantly deal with enemy jungle. In this game, what should happen is that he tracks the 𝘁 and all he does is farm and counter gank the 𝘁, so the 𝘁 can't actually get anything on the map. If he does that, there's basically nothing 𝘂𝗀 can do. They have 3 pushing lanes, they get every objective for free, and then they have perfect disengage with the Poppy into both 𝘁 and the 𝘚lister. If Poppy doesn't misplay and Caitlyn doesn't misposition, they can't actually touch the Caitlyn, and then Caitlyn's gonna kill everybody. And then you still have a Ryze who can go side lane, together with a Gnar who will run over the Renekton for the entirety of the game. So I really don't see win condition for them. The only win condition I see is Cerberus are better players. Like, that's the win condition. And it's like, Cerberus drafted a team comp that if they constantly outplay, they have a chance to win and they can actually snowball because the champion likes a mirror. If snowballing and executed much better than the enemy players, is a very strong champion. But if we remove the main nameplate and expect them to be equally good players, I literally don't know how they win.
Yeah.
Well, Marby,
I think...
one of the good things that we have seen from 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗹 over the course of this season is their drafting skills, right? And we talk about how this is, well, yeah. If 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗹 can essentially win this and take the fight back to burst the sky, they are in a situation right now where the onus is on them. They've got winning lanes, they've got the better draft. This is not a losable game for them. They can't lose this game because if they lose this game, what hope do they have?
Yeah, it looks real rough if they do. I mean, how do they lose the game? I can only imagine would be, yeah, the stall out forever till Victor gets to the point where he can just one-shot an entire team in one rotation. And then you get that team fight where Poppy can't do anything about the 𝘚lister because he has flash up and he can flash over the steadfast presence sort of thing. Finds a good angle. But that's still kind of just... that still is mostly boiling down to, hey, 𝘀𝗀 is really good and he found an angle that the Poppy couldn't react to. Congratulations. We have returned to Cerberus are a better team as the win condition. But yeah, if you don't win this, like, unless it's something like a disastrous level 1 that just throws the whole game out of proportion and you're like, well, it went wrong, we can try again. And just, that's fine, and you can write that off. But if it's like a game where you are pushing all your lanes, but you're not able to track ego's able to pop off, then you're like, well, crap, we are just not able to clap Cerberus because we have such a strong draft advantage, and then if we lose, I'd lose all hope.
Well, it does seem that there are still a couple of delays. I think we can actually touch on this mid lane matchup once more, and if we aren't into game, then we can throw to a break. So we talk a little bit about 𝘀𝗀𝗋, and one thing that we were speaking about is how 𝘀𝗀𝗋, if he is in... essentially, 𝘀𝗀𝗋 can do one of two things. Either he can play for lane, get a lead, do okay, or he can play for his team, and then he won't be able to get his own lead versus his counter matchup in the mid lane, but he can make stuff happen in the rest of the map. What 𝘀𝗀𝗋 do we see in this game? Tim, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I like to see kind of both, because I think the position that he's in is actually a very tier 1. He can just play for lane, he can just play for the push, because they're not forced to do anything. They have a 𝘂𝗀, the 𝘂𝗀 can just chill, can go for objectives, and I expect 𝘀𝗀𝗋 to go for the push, to go for the farm, and then when he has the priority, he should move and look that he doesn't drop too much farm by moving, but he should still be on the map.
Okay, well, with that, we are into game. Tim, thank you very much for your analytical points. But Marby and I, it is time to jump on into the Rift. Can Cerberus make this composition work? Can Ego find something to happen? Because if anyone is going to make this early game work, it's Ego on the 𝘁.
Yeah, I mean, Ego's the one you have to look for. You have to look to see him try and punish probably these solo lanes, because this Poppy's going to make Ego's life so difficult trying to get down there and punish the over-aggressive Caitlyn. So, I mean, yeah, look, Ryze seems to be the obvious target. That's a fairly immobile mage, has no options to get away, but by the same token, you don't have the CC to just set yourself up. So maybe you look towards the top side, trying to work off that Ruthless Predator and a good timing. We are seeing that path towards the top side. He knows bot lane's a no-go zone, so Ego's just going to try and path towards this top side, find something if he can find anything. Maybe utilize the early push a Renekton's able to get if he managed to find a good lane position early on, to just try and maybe make sure he can get a crab. Good tackle from 𝘀cie. Will get bounced back a little bit, as 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗀 is just taking so much damage and trying to slap back anything. And look at this damage from
𝘁𝗏 is just getting run down. I think he's dead.
No, not quite.
Forced to burn the flash straight away.
Yeah, the flash getting away from the headshot, the ignite ticking. It's this range advantage. He got caught against the wall, and 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗀, starting with the pulverize, means he can't do anything. He can't respond at all. You'd almost want to start with the headbutt so that if 𝘀cie goes in, you can just get rid of Shogun and say, no damage comes out of you. Go away.
And so far, 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗀 trying to find that little trade, trying to dissuade
BJ.
Shogun and 𝘀cie, but just can't match the aggression. And now 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗀 looking for the dive onto 𝘀𝗀𝗶. First blood on the cards. Will be able to flash out of the spectral maw. Now Artemis joining into the fray. The denial of the engaged 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹 engaged on, and it's going to be a kill going the way of 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗀. Now they can look towards Artemis, going to find the knockdown, and sure, one will die, but Artemis, the auto's not enough. Shogun's going to die, and 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗀, you just gave 2 kills to Artemis for nothing.
Froggy's in the mid lane. Ego found the gank. They tried so hard to go back onto it. Like, 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹 got blocked up by 𝘁𝗀𝗵's presence. Fantastic. And then they just try to push way too hard. They try so hard. And then Triumph OP. It saves Artemis again and again and again. Just the barest of minimums. This man is so fed.
If you are playing against any other team,
as well.
Yeah, it was Shogun. Shogun got the execution die to Artemis, thankfully for him and 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗵𝗹𝗀, but this is beautiful from 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗵𝗹𝗀. They get 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹, and 𝘁𝗶, if they're playing against any other team, they do not go for this dive.
No, and I mean, realistically, they shouldn't. They commit so much. My man's 𝘁𝗀𝗶𝗃 is on negative health to begin the play, and actually, look, Ego just swiping in to pick up that, and now 𝘀𝗀𝗶 on the roam. That's a dead Froggy again, and we were wondering how to Cerberus get a win condition. 5 kills in 5 minutes. That's how you get a win condition underway.
I think I can hear the screams of Tim from Germany. My God, 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗵𝗹𝗀. They're just so desperate to shut out Artemis. They do exactly what they couldn't do. Exactly what they had to not do is what they've done. And I just can't wrap my head around it. Beautiful, beautiful rotation from 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹. Nothing Froggy is doing there.
Yes, very little. He can do practically nothing, as you say. 𝘀𝗀𝗏 gonna grab that kill for himself. And now, look, Artemis, yeah, he got beaten down. He's back with a VAMSAT, so he can deal with this poke a little bit better now. And 𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗹 is free to do the silly things on the map, like kill Froggy again. It's just insane. The only lane that isn't falling apart is top lane, and even then, that's not the lead. That's not getting the lead it was supposed to get. It's pretty much dead even. Tiny lead for Pun, but that's not real. It's 1 CS. It doesn't goddamn thing. And look at this jungle. Look at this jungle.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well,
actually, it was worse before. But
I mean, we spoke about Ego. He's on the Lee Sin. He needs to make stuff happen early. And Tim was saying it's on BJ to be able to essentially track where Ego's going, being able to counter the ganks of Ego. And BJ hasn't been able to do that. Now Froggy, he gets a phase rush. That means he can run out of the Chaos Storm to keep himself alive. But 𝘀𝗀𝗏's just more than happy in this situation right now.
Yeah, 𝘀𝗀𝗏's gonna force him back to base pretty much all but guaranteed. There are the pots ticking, but 𝘀𝗀𝗏 is low on mana, so he has to be really careful. BJ is looking for it. He may have found the angle. Froggy
They
is
might have
so
found the
low for
angle, but do
fighting
they
it.
have the damage? 𝘀𝗀𝗆 will be able to lock 𝘁𝗀 in his tracks. Does not have the flash available.
let's-
Trying to hunt down Spectral. More will connect. 𝘁𝗀 will get the kill onto 𝘀𝗀.
Yes, very clutch. And now 𝘁𝗀 putting the pressure onto Pun. Really low, taking a tower shot or two. But now we see 𝘁𝗀 making his way up top. Pun's on next to no health. But can he get the kill onto 𝘁𝗀? He cannot. The ult is good.
But look at 𝘁𝗀! 𝘁𝗀 coming in from behind, looking onto Pun, gets the kill, might die to the tower shot! 𝘁𝗀, you're a lucky boy right there. I'm surprised he didn't just steal the soul just to be able to deny
Here
the
comes
tower
Ego.
shot.
𝘁𝗀's not in position.
Looking for Shogun, the exhaust might be enough. That's a good heroic charge. Shogun's out of range. Shogun drops down the autos. Ego will not die, but Shogun will stay alive. Has to burn everything in the process. Now there's a realm warp coming down. 𝘁𝗁 and Pun both are teleporting in for the play. Shogun gets on top. 𝘁𝗁 gets on top of Shogun, pardon me, and gets the kill. Froggy able to pull one back. Heroic charge into Ego. 𝘁𝗀
Here's
on the run.
𝘀𝗀.
𝘁𝗀 down. And Artemis is popping off. He's got the ultimate. Inferno trigger onto Froggy, flashes forward, one more auto. He can't get in range. He's slowed on the tower. Artemis throws it away. And oh my god, the action is incredible right now.
𝘀𝗀's completely unable to join. He doesn't have a blast cone. He doesn't have the flash to get over the wall. He's stuck out of it. If he's able to, that completely turns around. But as it is, we're back to even in kills. With only one in the lead for Cerberus. And it all falls apart. Shogun not really being able to participate is a small blessing for the side of Cerberus, as 𝘁𝗀 able to remove him from the fight instantly. But now we have to see where they're going to go from here. It's just, everything's been blown up. Neutral objectives have spawned. Now they're coming for 𝘀𝗀. 𝘁𝗀 and 𝘁𝗀.
Heroic charge. 𝘀𝗀 able to
Flash.
flash means that the heroic charge won't knock him in to the wall. And in the end, the gank is worthwhile because they are able to get a summoner off this victor. And here is this incredible play in the bottom lane that all starts with Ego trying to get on top of Shogun.
Yeah, Ego not being able to follow up with that second Q in time. 𝘁𝗀 able to get into position to deny it completely. And then this teleport from 𝘁𝗁, it does leave them completely unable to retreat. They go in, they trade onto Shogun, and then they know 𝘀𝗀's coming, so they feel confident. But 𝘀𝗀 can't join. Look at him walking back and forth going, I'm useless. I can't do anything. And Artemis, he tries so hard, but he can't. He doesn't quite have the damage.
It's
Can't
just
let
slow
it
from the
through.
boomerang.
Oh, it's tragedy. But in the end, and oh, we had someone else die somewhere along the way. SGB found another kill.
There's always people dying, 𝘁𝗀. This is the VCS 𝘁𝗀. He's looking for a flank, but he's just going to get collapsed on. He can drop the heroic charge, but he's locked down by the trample. Surely 𝘁𝗀 falls. Oh, he goes golden to dodge it out of the sonic wave. But the death ray, the laser from 𝘀𝗀 will be able to pull one back. It's a 1-for-1. Jungler full support. Sonic wave onto 𝘀𝗀. 𝘀𝗀, where you gonna go? Mid laner down. Froggy gets the kill. 2-for-1. Saigon Buffalo on top.
We're seeing Buffalo collapse faster. They're able to actually get they're able to get their AD carry there in time. And now what do we see here? Shogun, Artemis. They're trying to get something done, but Artemis just goes too far to the wall and gets completely blown up. It's you can't rely on things like that when you're against Poppy. You have to check your walls. You have to make sure you're not in range of that heroic charge. But Artemis, he's trying to get 𝘁𝗀. He's trying to push this lead, which is good to see, but he's kind of lost it now.
I've also just realized something else. So I'm sorry to kind of take this away from a full serious cast, but you remember how we were memeing about the names in picks and bans? That's actually their in-game names. They just added like a whole bunch.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you why. It's because they're on the live servers. They're on like actual.
They had their own names on the live server as well.
You'd think, but fans are horrible and will steal your name.
Very true. Except for Shogun, no one's a fan of Shogun. Clearly.
I mean, he's a rookie. No one knows about him yet. So now we're just gonna see where we're gonna move on from here. 𝘀𝗀 has been targeted. 𝘁𝗀 has been accelerated so heavily. He is now a viable threat and can just walk into these lanes and put down the damage. As we saw a rail warp to the mid lane, but 𝘀𝗀's fended it off extremely well.
𝘀𝗀 just casually 1v2s 𝘁𝗀𝗀 and 𝘀𝗀, who take the realm up to the mid laners. We get a brief screen freeze, and I thought we might have been going into a pause, but not just yet. It's a 1,000 goal lead for 𝘀𝗰𝗵𝗹𝗀. First Drake still on the cards. Ego will be looking to pick that one up, but after a solid start from Cerberus, well, it wasn't a solid start from Cerberus. After 𝘀𝗰𝗵𝗹𝗀 threw an advantage and gave Cerberus a huge advantage, they've been able to claw back that deficit and build up an advantage of their own. But it is all on this man, Artemis. We know what he's able to do. You can never count him out of a game.
Unfortunately, if there was a game you could count him out of, this is it, and that's all thanks to 𝘁𝗀𝗃 there, who's been able to deny quite a few plays so far already. Seeing a teleport from 𝘀𝗀 to counter this one from 𝘀𝗀, but they just abandoned 𝘀𝗀 to his fate!
It's 2v1s. They don't care about 𝘀𝗀. It's all about getting the kills onto Artemis. 𝘀𝗀 will fall. It's a shutdown for Artemis as well. He is ahead of a Shogun in the Samira versus Caitlyn matchup. And sure, the victor is down, but Cerberus are the Artemis team.
But on that whole top side play, we had the Rift Herald go down, and actually I'm going to hold that.
The heroic charge, Sonic Wave lands. Is there any resonating strike from Ego? He's got the flash, he's got the kick. He could look for the insect play, but Cerberus don't want to bite off it too much. They're just going to retreat, sit under their tower, and catch this wave.
Yeah, as I was saying, in that top play, we saw the Rift Herald go down. We saw it get a charge off onto the top side. I don't think it managed to grab one in the top on the second one. Actually, looking at that damage, it definitely did. So we got the 2 charges off in the top side. 𝘁𝗃 got a hell of a lot of gold injected into his pockets. Now Pun has to be a little bit more careful. He still is in a position where he could fight if he can get on top of the Mininar, but if 𝘁𝗃 just backs here, he'll come back with a hefty advantage right now.
And I want to give some quick praise to Pun, because we talked about how that was a counter matchup, how 𝘁𝗃 had the advantageous matchup with an eye into Renekton. Sure, he's dropped a tower, but he's kept the CS even. He's only died once as well. I think that's a respectable job from the Cerberus top laner.
Yeah, and he's had a couple of visits from the side of 𝘁𝗀𝗀, whereas Ego has completely abandoned the top side, has given it not even the time of day, and so yeah, he's done all right. The Rift Herald comes up top and takes the tower from him, but there's very little he can do in that situation. And across the map, you'd expect this is where Cerberus can try and get something. They found a dragon, and the gold is basically even, of course, and as they pick up the tower on the bot side as well. But yeah, this Samira got fed 2 kills early, and then kind of gave them straight back. And
then picked up 2 more kills.
Yeah, yeah, it's a mess.
Well, crowns have been picked up for both mid laners. First items completed for practically everyone, with the exception of supports. As Cerberus looking towards this mid lane. I think the first Rift Herald was actually picked up by the side of 𝘀𝗰𝗵𝗹𝗀, and I think they dropped it. I think that's how they got their tower. 𝘁𝗀𝗀 looking for a play onto Artemis, but it's just going to be 3 members collapsing. Heartbreaker over the wall, but the Viego will fall. 𝘀𝗀 gets his revenge. Shogun ends up picking up the kill onto Artemis. Now they're looking towards the Ego 𝘀𝗀 on his way down, as Cerberus looking to recollapse onto this place. A 3v3. Shogun just going to get run down, and the kill goes away of 𝘀𝗀. Headbutt pulverized, now looking towards 𝘀𝗀, and 𝘀𝗀's got nowhere to go. He's trapped between 3 members in a tower. I don't know where he's running, but he's going to be heading back to his base, and Cerberus come out on top. The collapse on the collapse play, and Cerberus find themselves nearly 2,000 gold ahead. Locked down is 𝘁𝗃𝗃 temporarily by the gravity field, and now Cerberus can turn towards the second Rift Herald of the game.
Artemis is the bait, 𝘀𝗀's the carry. They commit, they get the first kill onto 𝘁𝗀𝗀. The Heartbreaker is what gets them a kill back, but the wraparound from 𝘀𝗀 is beautiful. We are very far back in this replay. Yeah, we're gonna see 𝘁𝗀𝗀 get sort of picked out here, just pushing way too far forward onto Artemis. And well played by the side of Cerberus to keep them down, but that Poppy ult knocking away the 𝘀𝗀. They chase too hard onto Ego, and this gives 𝘀𝗀 the beautiful wraparound with 𝘀𝗀 as well, forcing Shogun into the waiting arms of death, and then beautiful play from 𝘀𝗀 to just catch 𝘀𝗀 as he separates from the Poppy, and it's overall 3 kills for 1. Beautiful play from Cerberus.
fantastic from them. And now with the Rift Herald in the inventories as well. Gold still relatively even between the two teams, and we still know that 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 have the objectively better draft. They have the Poppy counter towards this Alistar engage, towards the 𝘁_Sin potential insects. But now we've seen Artemis, well, we saw initially 𝘀𝗀 sacrificing his life so Artemis could get a kill, so Artemis could get a shutdown, and then we saw Artemis sacrificing his life so 𝘀𝗀 could get a kill. So it's, they're giving kills each way, they're trying to get each other fed in the process, and they both have quite a few amount of kills. It's been a very bloodthirsty game so far, and that bloodthirst I don't think is going to be going anywhere, because now we're seeing 𝘁𝗀. He's going to be able to land the Spectral more onto 𝘁𝗀, as 𝘁𝗀 denied, but pulverized. 𝘁𝗀 will have the headbutt back
Good
up
flash from 𝘁𝗀.
And so 𝘁𝗀 flashing out to safety, but 𝘁𝗀, he's stuck. He's a lockdown. 𝘁𝗀 𝘁𝗀 going to be able to flash over the wall. Heartbreaker, but Ego's going to follow. Kicks the 𝘁𝗀 into the 𝘁𝗀cie_𝗶𝗴. 𝘁𝗀 will fall, but so will one other. Oh, that's a big barrel coming in. And Jogun's just dishing out the autos. Artemis and 𝘀𝗀 not in this fight just yet, but Artemis in. 𝘀𝗀 flashing over the wall. Now they look for 𝘁𝗀. 𝘁𝗀 on the run. A lot of damage. Rune Prince are going to lock down Artemis. 𝘀𝗀 not going to be able to find the damage to kill 𝘁𝗀, and how 3 members alive for both teams. It's a 2-for-2, Marby. This game is absolutely bonkers mad.
And that team fight was such a mess, just scattered to the 4 winds. And then you see the only Cerberus not being able to fully engage, 𝘀𝗀 trapped on the wrong side of Dragon Pit, having to flash over, and Shogun being able to keep completely safe from range thanks to this Caitlyn. And let's just see where this all starts off. We see 𝘁𝗀 has to blow the steadfast presence early, but this gives Ego and Pun free reign. It's a good flash from Froggy to deny it, but Pun decides, I need to get rid of this Poppy. It doesn't actually work, and it's only a miracle Pun's able to somehow pick up 𝘁𝗀, do enough damage for the ignite, and this ult from 𝘁𝗀 saves the day. If he doesn't get that off, it might just be the cleanup. That boulder toss as well, just keeping Artemis so far behind. And yeah, look, we are seeing the problems with Artemis on this Samira. Look, she dives in and then immediately gets Rune Prison, has to blow the cleanse, has to run the hell away immediately. Lost her shield bow passive. And she didn't really get a lot of done. She got an assist or 2 overall, but yeah, it's not having the impact on the fights we want from Artemis as a player. It's really coming down to the works of Ego and 𝘀𝗀 to carry this fight through. And I mean, 𝘁𝗀, of course, I can't deny him. He's been fairly fantastic on this Alistar.
That's into a Poppy matchup where there's very little he can do in that previous fight. So many little decisions that swayed that fight, from 𝘁𝗀 being able to deny and engage, from ulting 𝘀𝗀 out of the fight. If 𝘀𝗀 was there earlier, Cerberus could have maybe just absolutely snowballed that 5-for-2. As the Rift Herald won't get another charge. In comes the engage from Ego, but it's all denied. That is beautiful. Ego taken down under the tower. And this is exactly the reason why 𝘁𝗀's Poppy is so huge against this Cerberus composition. 𝘁𝗀 knocked away by the head, but the flank coming in from 𝘁𝗀, Realm Warp from Froggy. And it's all about 𝘁𝗀 buying time. He's ignited. I think he might die anyway. No, he's able to stay alive. And it denies a kill away from Cerberus. Do 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 look for more? And I think the answer to that is no.
Yeah, we saw it. He's tried so hard. It was actually able to get a kick onto Poppy, but it timed with the gravity well, I think, and it ended up just re-stunning Poppy in place. It looked real janky, but Poppy did not fly far enough away to get blown up in the manner Cerberus wanted. And then that chase through was absolutely ridiculous. It's going to be a collapse onto Pun. Can he get out? It's not very likely unless Ego's here to save the day.
Well, it's a good headbutt from 𝘁𝗀. In goes Ego. 𝘀𝗀 into the fray as well. Ego is low. I think Ego will die. No, he's staying alive for so long. The W down. 𝘁𝗀 will be able to pick one back, but he will die regardless. It's a kill going the way of Artemis, and it's 2 kills for 1 for Cerberus. Again, both teams going aggressive, both teams looking for plays. And this is one of the scrappiest games, if not, I think this is the scrappiest game we have seen in the VCS so far.
It's one of the scrappier ones, that is for sure. We are just seeing these two teams going at it like they both have nothing left to lose, but SGB as a whole, they have everything to lose. If they lose this, they are desperate. They need to beat 𝘀𝗀, and they need to pray to the gods that Cerberus doesn't lose to BTS as well. And as we see here, it's a good singling out of 𝘀𝗀gy, trying to remove the damage, but he's able to get enough down onto 𝘂𝗀 that he trades his life. 𝘁artemis able to collapse in and pick up a kill for himself as well, hoping to reach towards these items. Maybe a collector. I'm not 100% sure what he's built towards. He might have gone for the 𝘁𝗀 instead this game. But I am losing my mind. It's the 𝘁𝗀, which makes sense up against the Poppy and the 𝗀. Yeah, it's 𝘀𝗀. You miss out on the funny interaction with the ultimate, which has been absolutely insane in the past. But yeah, going for that armor pen, it makes a lot of sense for 𝘁artemis.
𝘁𝗀 coming into this series were nowhere near being the favorites, but they are putting on a show. Now we're fighting over the Chemtech Drake, who would be the first Chemtech Drake for either side. Both teams with one Drake to their name so far.
𝘁𝗀 gets rid
Poppy
of
now it's a 5v3. This is where you take the fight, and 𝘁𝗀 is going to be able to secure the Drake. Now for 𝘁𝗀, it's just about being able to get out, running for the hills. You've got what you wanted, you want nothing more. Take the realm warp. 𝘁𝗀 not going to be able to follow, but it doesn't matter. 𝘁𝗀, they get the Drake and they get out without losing any members. But now the Poppy ult is down. Cerberus could potentially look to force a fight around Baron.
The zone control is absolutely insane. Not only did the 𝘁𝗀copter remove too, it also went, the traps from Caitlyn meant that there was no opportunity to collapse. Of course, losing your Alistar hurts a lot, but the fact Pun has to sort of finagle his way carefully around these traps. We're seeing 𝘂𝗀, he's found his way down through the way unspotted, but I don't think they actually want the Baron. It's a fair amount of damage. 𝘁𝗀 finds a pick.
Yeah, headbutt pulverized onto Shogun. Shogun's going to be able to make his way out, trying to kite, but the trample's going to lock him down. Shogun's going to fall. Meanwhile, the fight is still going on. Pun is low, and 𝘁𝗀 are going to be able to find one. This is a 3v4. Pun is going to reset and teleport back into the fray, but 𝘁𝗀 critically, they have denied the Baron, and now they can walk out. They've prevented Cerberus from trying to coin flip it because 𝘂𝗀 is down. 𝘀𝗀gy has to be careful. Yado, 𝘁artemis, 𝘁𝗀 trying to collapse. 𝘁𝗀 on a potential flank, but 𝘀𝗀gy is just running for the hill. He's forced to flash away and out to safety. Cerberus won't be able to find anything off the back end of this fight.
Now in the end, it's only a 1-for-1. 𝘂𝗀 being completely isolated amongst the entirety of SGB. It means they can't collapse onto the Baron to try again because they can't risk 𝘁𝗀j with the smite coming over. So it's just going to be a bit of a reset coming through. Gold 2,000 in the advantage of Cerberus, but Drake slowly stacking for SGB. Cerberus so thankful they grabbed that first Ocean Drake, because otherwise it would be do or die, and this zone control from SGB is insane. As we see here, it's 𝘁𝗀 on a great flank, but they actually figure him out almost by accident with that net. I'm not sure if they saw him on something else, but with that Poppy, the top side, the front is just removed. 𝘁artemis not having an impact at all in this fight, really. It's just...
He did about 200 damage, that was it.
Yeah, he can't do anything. He's too short range. His entry in is denied by 𝘁𝗀ky and 𝘀𝗀gy. He does not get to do 𝘁𝗀 things. It's just a...
And again, 𝘂𝗀 fails to flash a kick, and a Shogun ends up riding the kick out to safety. Now there's a teleport in. 𝘁𝗀 trying to turn the fight, looking for 𝘁𝗀. Going to be able to find a two-man pulverize. Look at the Poppy ult. He kicks 𝘁artemis out of the fight. 𝘁artemis taking all the damage. Pun running for his life. It's a two-man knockup. 𝘁𝗀j stealing the soul away from Alistar. Sonic Wave lands onto 𝘁artemis. Do they look for more? Heartbreaker over the wall. 𝘁𝗀 3 kills for nothing, and 𝘁𝗀 look towards the Baron. 𝘂𝗀 down. Cerberus no smite.
Can we see something akin to what 𝘀𝗀gy and Ryuk pulled off in the last series? I don't think they can. Yada's not even going for it, and he'd be the main carry of that situation. Doesn't have the ultimate. 𝘁𝗀ky lurking. Doesn't want to give 𝘁artemis an opportunity. And we've just seen 𝘁𝗀ky manhandling these fights. 𝘁artemis unable to have any impact at all. Completely ejected. And this final pick, was just disaster, and we all saw it instantly, and it's playing out here. Flub from 𝘀cie, now they're overcommitted. There's nothing they can do, and it's a beautiful scoop from 𝘁𝑠 to keep them in there. We saw the knock away from 𝘁𝑎rtemis. It meant there's no damage to help 𝘀𝘀 punch through it, and without that extra bit of kick that 𝘁𝑒mis should be providing, there's no hope. They can't pick up a single member.
Cerberus. I mean, when you look at the gold, there's less than 2,000 gold separating the team. How is it still this close? Because it feels like, looking at the last 5 minutes of this game, 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 should be about 4,000 gold ahead. But it is still close. There is still hope for Cerberus. We talked about 𝘀𝘀 getting towards 4 items, becoming the monster on a Victor that can carry this game. But still a way to go. And right now, Cerberus need to defend against the Baron push of 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀. And Cerberus will be wanting to deny 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 making their way onto 𝘀𝗃 point.
And I need to see 𝘀𝘀's items. I have a bad feeling he's going for the Cosmic Drive instead of something that does a little bit more damage, which he really needs in this composition, because 𝘁𝑚is is just unable to get it out. Now 𝘁𝗀, he's lurking. He's gotten off to a very good start as well, but can he finish this off? Now we're gonna see them move towards this dragon. It should be nigh impossible for Cerberus to approach. 𝘁𝑠 at full mega butter as well. He can just lurk and make sure you can't really lean into him. 𝘀cie can't get to the dragon. It's soul point for Buffalo, and they gotta just walk away because these traps, they deny everything. There is nothing Cerberus can do against this composition.
When you're looking at these fights, 𝘁𝑠 in Mega Gnar form, it becomes hard to engage, and that's on top of already the amount of denial that 𝘁𝗀ce's Poppy is providing. We've seen 𝘀cie so many times trying to find an engage, trying to find an insect play, but just denied instantly by 𝘁𝗀ce. We've seen �ＯP looking for potential plays, 𝘁𝗀ce denying it instantly, and then 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 can just easily turn onto an 𝘚listair without Aftershock being procced. And 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 slowly starting to take this game further and further out of Cerberus's control, getting closer and closer to taking game 1. And if game 1 goes their way, maybe they can take a 2-0, a 2-1 either way, hand Cerberus their first defeat of the split. Now they're looking to run OP. Forcey Flash will use the Unbreakable. Well, they're going to be able to find the PC. They're going to be able to get the kill onto 𝘁𝗀. There are no more 𝘁𝗀 resets. Pun coming in. Going to be able to find the and 𝘁𝗀mis is popping off. 𝘁𝗀mis has the out. 𝘀𝗀 got a fall. 2 kills for 𝘁𝗀mis. Cerberus find the fight. Cerberus have the goal lead. It doesn't matter if 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 have a better comp. Cerberus do not give one jot of care.
And now look, it's only a fight over the blue buff. It's a fight over nothing. Maybe Cerberus are going to be able to break open this inhibitor tower, but with Poppy being able to just Poppy and then Caitlyn being in range shortly, they might not be able to take an inhibitor itself. No, they're just going to walk away with the tower, a bit of more gold in their pockets. It shows that if they can find that gap, they can win these fights if they can get on top. And we are seeing 3 items coming out, slowly getting towards the 4th, the Void Stuff and the Shadow Flame being built onto 𝘀𝘀. So he is going to be able to cut through these carries. It's not really the most magic resist, so maybe if we can see this Magi's come together finally, it'll all explode into a wonderful display of just burst damage. But now we're seeing a collapse into the...
This is not a good replay.
Yeah, and this is the replay. They commit really hard onto the 𝘚listair. They've blown pretty much all their tools, and Pun gets in unnoticed and is able to just demolish these squishy targets of 𝘀𝗀gy and the Mini Gnar. 𝘁𝗀ce unable to do anything. The Flash denying his steadfast presence. These are the small fights they can win.
𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 collapse onto 𝘀𝗀. There's very little he can do. He's going to be able to ward hop his way. The boomerang toss does not find the slow, and 𝘁𝑠 will not commit a flash in trying to chase down the Cerberus jungler. Drake in 2 minutes, Baron in 1 minute. If 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 get that 𝘀𝗃 soul, it doesn't matter if 𝘀𝘀 is playing a Victor. It doesn't matter if Cerberus have insane scaling. That 𝘀𝗃 soul literally changes the fate of a game.
Yeah, so Cerberus, they need to be really making sure they're on that on that spot early. They cannot let Buffalo take control, because if traps are down, if 𝘀𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀's lurking in a bush, if 𝘁𝘀medt has the desired amount of Mega Narc bar, you can't approach, and that is a free soul. That is pretty much a win given over. Now they're going to try to catch out 𝘁𝘁medt while there's still a bit of time. Good flash from 𝘁𝘁medt to deny an opportunity to 𝘁𝑠ec. And that is down. That is a big tool down for a later engage. Baron coming up shortly. It's 10 seconds. They have a fair amount of burst, but if they go for it, they give up. They have the option. They have the they risk, as my words come together, having SGB just play it as stall so someone can solo out the dragon. So they give up the positioning. That's what you want. Ego is on the wrong side of it everywhere. What are you doing, man? Oh, let's see.
Going to find 𝗀𝗀. He's going to be able to find the kick, headbutt, pulverize. 𝘁𝗀𝗋 not quite in range to go for the combo. Fighting over the river, but the longer 𝘀𝑇rBRUS fight, the longer 𝘀𝑇rBRUS take to go for Baron, the closer we get to Drake. And then if 𝘀𝑇rBRUS do look for Baron, 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 say, fine, you take Baron, we'll take Chemtech Soul. We are more than happy with that trade. But right now, 𝘀𝑇rBRUS trying to contest 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 in the river. 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 stepping up in the river, hovering around Baron. Who pulls the trigger?
Okay, Putton is lurking. Here comes. They're using the Realm Warp to go to Drake.
Whoa, 𝘀𝘁𝗃 is not there with the rest of the team, but as you mentioned, the Realm Warp is going to take the rest of 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀. They're running to the Chemtech Rift. They're running to the Chemtech Soul. Ego is on the hunt, but 𝘁𝗁 is just going to zone the members away, and there's no way for 𝘀𝑇rBRUS to be able to contest this. It is going to be the Chemtech Soul on the side of 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀. 𝘀𝑇rBRUS haven't even committed to the Baron yet. They will eventually do so, but that Baron will eventually run out. That Chemtech Soul is there forever.
Beautiful use of the Realm Warp. Just wrapping around, making it look like, oh, we're still positioning for this Baron. No, we're getting out of here. 𝘀𝗁𝗃 left behind. He gets killed. Who the hell cares? It's perfect. His death just delays the ability for them to chase. What are they going to do? They get the Baron, sure, but it's going to take an immaculate team fight, and these team fights are already insanely hard to pull off for 𝘀𝑇rBRUS, and they're going to have to do it twice over in the same thing to actually be able to utilize this Baron to its full effectiveness and push in to do damage to the base of the Buffalo. Oh my god, it just big brain stuff from 𝘀𝑚 coming together. It's just good old just completely carries this game, and they should be able to win this game off this advantage. It's only a 3k gold lead for 𝘀𝑇rBRUS. It's not like they can win these sort of fights against the double life.
And we haven't seen a game yet in the VCS where a team has been able to overturn a Chemtech Soul advantage. We've seen 𝘀𝑇rBRUS throwing so much to try to lock Shogun down, to try to get on top of him. Now, even if you do that, even if you get the kill, he's just going to come back to life, and he's still going to be throwing out the autos. He's still going to be landing the headshots. 𝘀𝑇rBRUS with a Baron buff, they have a narrow window where maybe they have an advantage. They can make something happen, but a Realm Warp coming through with no members in is an empty Christmas present for 𝘀𝑇rBRUS, but there will be a loaded present coming 𝘀𝑇rBRUS' way shortly. You can be almost guaranteed of it.
Yeah, the push is going to get them this tower. They're going to be able to keep sieging on. It's fairly decent siege thanks to the Victor, but they don't really have the range to just chip away at these towers, especially with these traps coming in. It's Caitlyn's favorite time, anti-siege in the base. Now we're going to have to see where they're going. There seems to be a bit of a scuffle going on in the mid lane, but not actually going to be able to lock 𝘁𝘁medt down long enough for the rest of 𝘀𝑇rBRUS to collapse. So we're just going to see them rotate, try and take the tower in the top side as well, try and funnel as much gold into their pockets. Seems to be a little bit of something going on in the mid lane, but it's going to cancel out as 𝘁𝘁medt gets away from Ego quite nicely.
Yeah, 𝘁𝘁medt ending up using the jump right as Ego drops down the kick and rides the kick on out to safety. 𝘁𝘁medt didn't even have to burn a flash in the process. And 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 more than happy with how things are going, just delaying out this Baron time, and that Baron down in 30 seconds. Once that's down, 𝘁𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 say, you have nothing over us. We have the Chemtech Soul, and you have no buffs. But if 𝘀𝑇rBRUS find a way to steal that Elder Drake, if 𝘀𝑇rBRUS get the Elder Drake onto their team, that Chemtech Soul can be damned.
Yeah, that's pretty much the win condition at this point, I feel, for Cerberus. Finding that Elder's Drake, finding that positioning, you can almost say you can pretty much forsake the Baron. You've got the timers at a good desync, I believe. No, it's actually very well synced. That makes it really annoying because you want that sync to be real out of whack, so you can just sort of only have to worry about the one objective. But what can they actually do? They don't have the ability to really shove in without the Baron. The wave clear from Ryze and Caitlyn is just too strong. But now, is they going to fight the catch out? No, the recall goes through.
Cerberus, again, they are ahead in goal, but they are not ahead in game state. Things are looking difficult for them, but there's a reason that they are yet to be defeated in the VCS winter split. Can they keep it that way? This is a best of 3. One game does not determine the outcome. And I think Cerberus, over the course of this split, they have only lost game 1 of a series once so far. They have dropped to about 3 or 4 games.
Damage
over the
onto
course of this
𝘁𝗏𝗏.
split. Ego going in. Is he going to be able to find the king? Yes, he can. They get the Caitlyn down. Artemis and the rest of Cerberus now looking to collapse. But Ego is going to fall. The headbutt from 𝘁𝗏𝗏, knocking Yano into a wall. But Cerberus are winning the fight. They don't care about the Chemtech Zone. It doesn't matter. There's so much damage coming through as Artemis pulls the Inferno trigger. Is he going to be able to kill 𝘁𝗏𝗏? 𝘁𝗏𝗏 flashing forward, going to be able to get the kill, but it only procs the Guardian Angel. 𝘁𝗏𝗏 and Husband, the only 2 members
Guardian
alive.
Angel?
And Cerberus, how have Cerberus done this? They've just got 4 killed for nothing, and Cerberus, my god, have stepped up. Chemtech Souls be damned!
Yano has teleport, he's coming back in full health. It's only Hasmed left. It's 30 seconds on this time as Pun and Ron-OP can take the towers for days. Cerberus, despite the soul, they win the goddamn game!
Don't quite believe it. Ego has stepped up massively with that play. He found a narrow opportunity. Cerberus took advantage. And Cerberus will take game 1 over 𝘁𝗀𝗏𝗶𝗹𝘀.
They find the single chink in 𝘁𝗏𝗏's defense. Ego slips in. He gets the kick onto Shogun, and with Caitlyn, even in her death state, doing as much as she can, she's gone. She's not able to chunk out. She's not able to do what she needs to do. Samira has the double life from the Guardian Angel. Hooray! We can buy them, apparently. Thank you, 4,000 gold lead. They should not have won that game.
No, they shouldn't have. And Yado, Artemis, and Ego, essentially, those 3 were... They made it happen, right?
Yeah, look, Artemis did do damage in that late game, but it was Ego finding that chunk. It was Pun being a menace in the backline, and Yado doing the heavy lifting in terms of DPS. I'm just woo! I need a break.
Yep. Well,
I need to decompress that.
𝘁𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 had everything they could possibly want for that opening game. They had the better draft, they had the early game lead, they had the Chemtech Soul, but that was not enough to take a game away from Cerberus. We're going to be jumping on into a short break. When we return, we'll be getting our analyst Tim's thoughts on the game and jumping into game 2 as Cerberus look to take the 2-0 clean sweep against the Buffalo. Welcome back, guys. We just saw Cerberus somehow managing to beat 𝘁𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 despite all the odds being stacked against them. And 𝘁𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝘁𝗏𝗏𝗏, or actually, I'm going to go to Tim first because, Tim, we haven't got to hear your thoughts on it yet. They had everything they could possibly want to take that game.
I have no idea how you lose that game. Literally none. I guess we have our first win against 𝘁𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, so.
Second, technically. There was one where the team inted, it was a scrap around the soul. A team secured the soul, but they got wiped in that fight just as a consequence of the fight, and then it ended off that fight. So the soul didn't really come into play.
Has any team won with the Chemtech Soul?
Yeah, I know that
lots.
one team played against, I think it was against BTS, where they backdoored with 𝘁𝗴𝗃𝗀𝗀. I think that was really very good.
I think I remember that one.
So yeah, I think that I don't have words for this. Like, so 𝘁𝗏𝗺 on Samira was absolutely useless, and 𝘂𝗀 really hates losing. Like, 𝘂𝗀 hates losing on a way different level. Like, the job that 𝘁𝗏𝗺 usually has for this team, 𝘂𝗀 did twice. And then you had one good engage. Like, Ego was griefing for most of the game. And then he found one really good engage, which we have to give him. I mean, it was a really good kick onto Shogun.
The game-winning kick.
Yeah, absolutely. Who, by the way, I have to also talk about. Shogun, he is the opposite of 𝘂𝗀. He really hates winning. He was so often out of position. He was constantly getting caught every single fight, and 𝘁𝗀𝗺 was really doing his best to keep his AD carry alive, and Shogun was really making it as hard as possible for 𝘁𝗀𝗺.
Reminds me of some solo queue games, to be honest. And it's kind of ironic that we came into this series talking about how Shogun is the better ADC over 𝘁𝗏𝗏𝗃, and that we wanted to see Shogun playing. Hopefully Shogun can clean things up then for game 2. But Saigon Buffalo are arguably going to have to do it when they don't have the draft in their favor. But I want to kind of break down the first 10 minutes of that game, because it was absolute carnage. And 𝘁𝗶𝗶, to go to you, do you think this crazy style of playing, this bloodthirsty style of playing, is one that suits Saigon Buffalo more than it suits Cerberus?
Not really. I think if you accelerate the situation that much with standard comps, like Artemis is going to be able to just roll with it, 𝘂𝗀 is going to be able to roll with it. It was only really due to that disgusting draft canyon that Buffalo were able to say, oh, hang on, we can, if we're somewhere first, you can't do a goddamn thing. We just put up the trap line. We just put 𝘁𝗀𝗺 in the front row with his poppycopter. And yeah, there was nothing that Cerberus could do for the majority of this game. And accelerating the Caitlyn and the Viego and stuff really let them play more aggressively and get into these positions where they could fully utilize their comp. But if the comps are just standard, like evenly matched, then yeah, Cerberus are just going to roll you.
Well, let's see then what does happen if Cerberus can get an even match. Tim, I guess you kind of called it. Worst draft is going to win, is what happened in game 1. We'll see whether it happens in game 2. Maybe Saigon Buffalo go for the worst draft buff. Okay, something else I want to bring up is ADCs, and in specific 𝘁𝗏𝗺 and his love of playing new unique ADCs. It feels like he's played pretty much every single ADC that's ever existed. Do you think he's...
Bring on the Ashe.
Does he bring out a 14th unique pick? Was going to be my question. So yes, 𝘁𝗶𝗶, do you think it's an Ashe game?
No, I don't think it's going to be an Ashe game. I think he might pull out one of the ones he's only played like a one game of, like I don't know what are those? Vayne, 𝘁𝗏𝗃, something along those lines.
𝘁𝗏𝗃𝗃, Ziggs, 𝘁𝗏𝗃, 𝘁𝗏𝗃, and now Samira as well.
Only one game of Vayne. I feel like he's played more, but yeah, just
maybe he will.
I feel like he's going to bring out one of those ones again and like bump those stats up before he goes to playing the real screwball ones.
Well, let's see. Maybe he does have something up his sleeve. Ashe would be one of them. He hasn't played a Varus yet, and Varus is probably not. Well, it's probably not as bad as Samira right now, or at least in that particular matchup, he probably could have done more with a Varus. But we are getting ready to head on in to picks and bans. Tim, 𝘁𝗶𝗶, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this time it's Saigon Buffalo going on red side, which honestly, if you had asked me before, I thought this was the better side for Saigon Buffalo, because getting 𝘁𝗏𝗺 the counter pick, I think, is really important. I mean, Cerberus kind of gifted it to them last game, so I'm not too sure, but also talking about the AD carry situation for Artemis, I think Samira was taking it too far with the unique AD carries, so maybe dialed it a bit back. Also Draven, he hasn't played Draven yet. I want to see Draven. I think Brave is one of these 1v9 play around Artemis when the game carry comes.
Yeah, I feel like you can definitely look to getting these counter picks for buff for 𝘁𝗃, and being on the red side lets you pick some of them all. Some of the ones that can be like compositionally countered, like say the 𝘁𝗃 or something along those lines. Whereas, like, yes, the 𝗀 matchup is a counter into the Renekton, but it's not one that's like that has ever really, to me, blown me away. It's like, well, this is unplayable for the Renekton. It's just like, yeah, he gets like 10 CS. That's it. Good job, 𝗀. You might find a good engage, but you are at the whims of the rage bar, which never, almost never works out for you. That's why I do not like 𝗀 as a champion. But as we move into it, yeah, you're gonna have to probably see, because we're onto the blue side now. Artemis are gonna have to probably gonna play a bit more of a standard blind pick AD carry, something like the 𝘁𝗃, something like the 𝘁𝗏. And then maybe we see the high priority pickup for 𝘂𝗋 and Yado again. Maybe we see Froggy just try and take that victor out of Yado's hands, because my god, that man put out so much damage in that last fight. It's insane.
I can't see 𝘁𝗃. I can't see if 𝘁𝗃 first pick. No, I mean, I think the 𝘁𝗃 first pick would be okay.
Not first pick.
Pun's got a pretty damn good top 𝘁𝗃, to be fair.
Sure, but not first pick.
I mean, this is
that's
okay. It's gonna be Victor first pick. I mean, I want to see 𝘁𝗃 again. I think Shogun didn't play great on her, but I think it gives you a lot of power, and it matches the range from the Victor. I think Jinx could be also an option, but it's really slow. It's much slower, and I'm not sure if I like it. Please don't pick Vayne.
You can't blame me, surely. Okay, it's right.
No, I mean. So, and now, like, I think it's Lee Sin or 𝘁𝗃. They should be going for one of the two. I can really see, there's a 𝘁𝗃. So far, they're running it back, which I don't hate. I think the draft was insane for them, so I think that really wasn't a problem.
Yeah, if they can run back the majority of what they had, I think if you try and look for a slightly more active jungler in the early game. And Artemis, I swear to God. Such cute.
I mean, it's a Jinx. It is a 𝘁𝗃, which now means that the Ryze is getting outranged pretty heavily. So he has to see how he can stack up in this game. Last game he had it pretty easy because so many low range champions. This time it's going to be really hard for him, and I'm not so sure if the Ryze was actually the right choice this early, just because he's getting outranged so easily. And we have seen consistently that Ryze players struggle to really deal damage in team fights once they're in this position, and long range AD carries and mid laners are the meta right now. So far, 𝘁𝗃 really nice. Ryze is still a question mark, and on the other side, I'm expecting we see a jungle pick here.
Could also see the Morgana, so it's not banned in the second phase, but there's the reason, which is an absolutely acceptable option. The jungle, and then banning out some of Ego's options is fair as well. The Viego taken off the board. I expect to see like a 𝗀𝗏 following that.
Interesting as well to see this 𝘀𝗏 being banned away to pair with the 𝘁𝗃 and 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀 saying we do not want to deal with Pun's time 𝘁𝗃. Are you expecting the Morgana to be banned away as well here, Tim?
They could ban it. I know a lot of Thresh players who actually do favor playing into Morgana. It's mostly a skill matchup, and most Thresh players have played the matchup very often, so they're not really afraid of it. And we see it's time 𝘁𝗃 and Jace being banned. Now I'm expecting they could be a Morgana pick. They could be going towards Nautilus as well if they want to. Leona is still open, so they have a few engage champion options as well for 𝘁𝗃 if you want to go towards them.
Marby, we're seeing this Jace being banned away from 𝘁𝗃. We've seen the 𝘁𝗃 before from 𝘁𝗃, and that 𝘁𝗃 had an incredible performance, but it's not a counter pick 𝘁𝗃. This is a blind pick 𝘁𝗃.
It's blind. They're leaving the counter pick for the support position, which is interesting considering you already know the bot lane. So I guess they're just saying, we know you don't have a real answer to this. We know you're just gonna pick the Renekton, and there it is, baby. Now it's up to what's Ego gonna lock in. Something nice and good into the 𝘁𝗃 would be good.
They want to play into 𝘁𝗃.
Come on. Ooh, no, Zach. That's only for Levi.
We want to be Levi. Everybody wants to be Levi.
𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀. Yeah, I mean that's
There you
okay.
go.
So that's the expected pick. Wouldn't have really liked in Italy because then you want to play into 𝘀𝗀𝗏, but there's the counter argument you can't play into 𝘀𝗀𝗏 because of Shroud. 𝘀𝗀𝗏 is one of the best blind pick weak side carry top laners, I would say, together with GP. And I would honestly not hate playing an Enchanted here, but it is looking like they're going for the engage support. So it's probably going to be just a Nautilus. Yep, it is. Into the Thresh. It is a good matchup. It has decent peel. And this time I think the team comps are much closer. And I would actually say that Cerberus probably came out of draft ahead if 𝘀𝗀𝗏 doesn't pop completely off.
That's a big if.
Yeah, I mean, I think SGB have a lot of have a few more early game options than Cerberus do. Working off their Lee Sin, the Caitlyn, and if they can try to look towards getting that 𝘀𝗀𝗏 rolling with roams from the Rise. But late game team fights, you look towards the Jinx and a Victor, and you're like, wow, that's a hell of a lot of damage coming out of the side of Cerberus. So yeah, fairly even compositions overall, but you look at that last game and you're just like, man, does that matter? Does anything matter anymore?
I think something does matter, Marby. Some things. I don't know how many things. But we have got, again, Shogun playing on the Caitlyn. Shogun had decent success at the start of game 1, if we exclude the failed tower dive. And now with the Nautilus, there's a lot more dive potential. There's a lot more setup to see to see BJ ganking towards this bottom lane.
But one problem that I see with the bot lane is that last game the bot lane was very easily won by SGB. But the problem this time is that it is a much closer matchup, and if I had to guess, I would just say that especially how Shogun performed in the last game, Artemis and Run OP are just gonna walk over. I wouldn't even put it past them that they just solo kill the Caitlyn Nautilus at this point and get Artemis rolling in a 2v2, or even with the help of Ego, start snowballing a bit and then just further and further snowball the game. And once that happens, it's going to be really, really hard to contest them, because Jinx Thresh in this position in the game is really untouched outside of the 𝘀𝗀𝗏. And if 𝘀𝗀𝗏 isn't able to just one-shot the Jinx outright, it's going to be near impossible to really touch her.
It might be hard for 𝘁𝗀𝗏 to get on top of that Jinx as well, because there are a few tools, Marby, that Cerberus can use to protect their carries.
Yeah, there are a few things. A well-timed Flay can absolutely shut down what 𝘁𝗁𝗏's trying to do. But that's a little bit hard. Crescent Guard is probably the easier option. But that requires you to sort of play fairly far back with your Xin Zhao, which is not really what you want to be doing. You want to be trying to make sure you're pushing as much threat as possible, trying to be putting as much threat onto the Caitlyn as possible. And yeah, like if you're playing purely to peel as Xin Zhao, you're kind of playing it wrong.
Well, I mean, there's always the other option, which is get the Jinx to sit really far forward next to the Xin Zhao.
Sure. I mean, you could always just play Jinx up in the front line as like, hey, 𝘀𝗀𝗏, over here. And then Yado just nukes him from behind because that's something he can do in Victor.
And to be fair to him, we did see in game 1, we hyped up Artemis as we probably should, as we usually do. But it was Yado who stepped up massively. And Yado, again, on this Victor, he can do so much work yet again.
I really don't. I'm not sure. I think this is Cerberus winning. I think Yado will run over and easily win.
Okay.
Yado to run over. I'm a bit tired. Yes, my brain cannot produce more analysis for this game. I think that is all. Seeing after the last game, it's just gonna be Yado diff.
Yeah.
Okay, Yado diff.
Sounds fair. If you can't win with that last draft, you're just not allowed to win.
So I'm just going to quickly do some checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Froggy is matching Artemis in number of unique champions played. He actually hasn't played the Rise before this split.
Huh.
Yes, but the difference is that Artemis is actually good on most of these champions.
Yeah, Artemis wins. Big difference.
Artemis just wins.
Ah, you're being so cruel to Froggy right now. He's gonna win, isn't he?
Yeah, like
yeah,
the way we're
probably.
dunking on them, they're probably gonna win it. Yeah, it's
But it's probably gonna be Froggy just carrying the team on its back in its entirety.
You know that whole thing you mentioned about Rise not having enough range and just being able to get picked off? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's not even gonna
Nah.
matter.
it's not gonna happen. It doesn't matter about range. He just builds full tank with a crown, full Archangel's frozen heart, just walks straight at you, and you're like, well, I can hit him. It doesn't do any damage.
He finds a new bug. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, the thing is, with any other AD carry, I would even in the VCS, I would even say that's maybe possible. I mean, just if you think about like Shogun just face tanking the Rise face first with a high range champion, but not Artemis. I believe so much in Artemis that he can keep his range with Jinx and not get one shot by the Rise. That I don't think that is happening, but yes, it could always happen. You know.
Yeah, just wait for Froggy to find the new exploit in the game where he builds rapid fire cannon and it doubles his spell range as well, and that's when you're all gonna start getting worried. But that being said, we will have to see what Froggy can do. We've seen this Rise Victor matchup beforehand. We expect it to go the way of the Rise in the earlier stages of the game before the Victor really gets some items, really is able to get it going. But we do have to talk more about 𝘁𝗀, don't we? Because the last time he played 𝘁𝗀, he had a fantastic performance. And even if he's got a 50% win rate, 𝘁𝗀, he's still a very accomplished 𝘁𝗀 player.
Yeah, historically, it's been one of his best champions, going all the way back to forever. He's been around for a little bit. He's been playing 𝘁𝗀 the whole time, and it's been very effective for it. It's been a huge bit of comfort. Back in the day, it used to be flexible as well, and that was a huge bonus to the team. But you could almost always guarantee it was going to go into the hands of 𝘁𝗀 because he's just so damn good. And if you're going to put him to 1v9, 𝘁𝗀 is one of the champions you're going to look for it on, but it is a tall order to go up against such a dominant threat as not just Artemis, but Yado as well, is just absolutely being monstering this back end of the split, and I'm really glad to see it from Yado, but it does mean 𝘁𝗀, he can really only assassinate one.
Oh, it's a good thing for 𝘁𝗀 that there's one main carry usually for the side of Cerberus. Although, yes, Yado is playing well. But then again, trying to jump onto a Victor when he's arguably maybe got a gravity field available might be a bit tricky, Tim.
I don't think he can kill both. And I think if Yado gets back into the game like he did last time, and Artemis this time on a champion where he can actually do something, it's against jumpers, against the gravity field, everything. It's not going to happen.
Are you trying to say, Tim, are you trying to insinuate that Cerberus won that game 4v5?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, at least. I mean,
I wouldn't even blame Artemis. Like, I'm not blaming the player. I'm blaming his champion.
Yeah. I mean, he probably picked the Samir. I highly doubt the coach said, "You want to play this useless ADC that no one's ever played in like the last few months?"
Yes.
Yeah, I guarantee you, right? Artemis has probably got right next to him. Well, it won't be on this side because it'll be on his monitor. He'll probably have one of those little sticky notes, and he'll just have it on the all the way along the bottom of his monitor, and he'll just have every single ADC, and he'll have a little strike through. Played this one, played this one, yeah, and he'll keep on going through it. Just wait until finals, guys. He's gonna pull out 𝘁𝗀.
Oh boy.
I mean, honestly, 𝘁𝗀, I would have preferred 𝘁𝗀's ADC in that game. Not gonna lie, I think it would have been a better pick than the Samira.
I would have preferred Varus. I would have preferred goddamn just about anything. Anivia bot lane
Yeah.
would have been more effective than that Samira.
Honestly, I would have preferred 𝘁𝗀. Like at that point,
Yeah.
Ooh, he hasn't played 𝘁𝗀 yet, has he?
no, he hasn't. He
Good.
hasn't played 𝘁𝗀. He hasn't played Draven. I think Draven is an interesting one. Ashe is
Draven's
an
what I
interesting
really
one.
want to see. Draven.
Like
and
I
Ashe
think
is what I like.
Draven feels like an Artemis champion. Like it 1v9s carries games. It is very good when you play around it, and it is lane dominant. So it could be an Artemis champion. Even though I think the champions he's really excelled on are these hyper carries, these long range champions, 𝘀𝗰𝗋, Caitlyn, Twitch. Those are the champions that I really want to see him on, and where he really dominates because his laning phase is so good that even with losing AD carries, he usually wins if he has the range to do anything.
Give me the void.
You say
puppy.
that, but Bobby, two of Artemis's best champions are the Vayne and Lucian, which definitely aren't long range hyper carries. Sure, Vayne's a hyper carry, but they're both fairly short range.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he gets to do a little bit of an 𝘀cie cosplay when he pops onto the Vayne and just just dance through the fights with that tumble. But now I want the void puppy. Give me the void puppy. Let's go. Give me some 𝘁𝗀𝗄.
I wonder if 𝘀𝗀𝗶 can play Lulu.
I'm sure he can.
The I think he can do it. The question is he
Is he willing
does he
to?
want to? Is he willing to? Yeah. I mean,
he doesn't have a choice. It's probably part of his contract. You play whatever Artemis tells you to.
I mean, maybe, but I think I'm gonna send you into the game and see you after.
All right. Well, we are into game, and 𝘁𝗀𝗀 just going to have a quick little scout of a river brush with his Sonic Wave, and he will find no one waiting for him. It's a very sad time to be a Lee Sin.
Yeah, he's not going to find anyone waiting, but 𝘁𝗀𝗄's going to be hunting. 𝘂𝗏 has to be a little bit careful. Flash hook.
Flash, dredge line, lockdown, Sonic Wave, resonating strike. 𝘁𝗀𝗀 gets first blood for 𝘁𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗶𝗏𝗀, and they say, 𝘂𝗏, you're pretty good in game 1. How about we kill you to start off game 2?
Yeah, it's a great start. Look, it's a flash into a immediate kill. He was not expecting the damage to come out, but it was too late to flash the Sonic Wave, and it means 𝘁𝗀𝗀 is able to pick up that game. We don't really need a replay of this, but actually looking at where 𝘂𝗏 is, he doesn't find out where that 𝘁𝗀𝗄's there until he flashes on top of him, I suppose. No, okay, we don't actually get to find out, but yeah, 𝘂𝗏 not willing to flash the Sonic Wave.
Why did he flash that late? That's
So,
and then he flashes when he's already dead, which is the bit that didn't make sense to me.
So I think from what I remember, if there is a window where you can flash the damage, but it's like you have to be frame perfect. It's just flash the initial Q, mate. Flash the skill shot, and you're all good. You don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so we're off to a good start for SGB. They managed to get the gank onto 𝘂𝗏. Now this should hopefully make sure 𝘀𝗀𝗏 doesn't get bullied around quite so much in that first game, because 𝘂𝗏 won't be as aggressive with the lack of a flash. Won't be able to put 𝘀𝗀𝗏 into a position where that Ego's just able to walk around and pick up a free kill easily prepared earlier by 𝘀𝗀𝗏. And 𝘁𝗀𝗀 returning to the mid lane almost immediately.
Oh, lock it down with a rune prison, but Ego is here, and Ego sends his regards to 𝘁𝗀𝗀. 𝘀𝗀𝗏 on the run, but 𝘀𝗀𝗏 will fall. Ego with the master plan as he strokes his chin cunningly.
It's all part of the plan, boys. Just line them up and knock them down. And that is just 2 kills straight back into the hands of Cerberus. They are loving it. As it's all an elaborate ruse. It's all an elaborate ruse. Dying first blood just to take 2 back later. It's perfect.
Absolutely fantastic from Cerberus, and Ego knowing exactly what 𝘁𝗀𝗶𝗏𝗀 wanting to do, saying, I have an idea what you're going for. Where is Ego here? Just out of vision as well.
Yeah, he decided not to go into his Raptors. He was actually coming back from them. He was on his way there. He's like, wait, no, I need to come back and stop this play. He read it perfectly, gets the double kill as a reward. He is loving life right now, and it's a flash down on 𝘀𝗀𝗏 as well. So there will be a small window where they can capitalize that when 𝘂𝗏's flashes back up.
Well, Yada's flash will be up in a couple of minutes, and maybe they can take advantage of 𝘀gie, who now does not have a flash available either. The Cerberus, they actually have advantage in this bottom lane, and that's with a 𝘀cie versus a Caitlyn. It should be Shogun who's coming out ahead with that extra damage, the extra range that Caitlyn does bring.
Yeah, these rockets are able to keep the wave shoved extremely easily, though. And they do provide a little bit of extra range to make it up against this Caitlyn. It's not quite the same, but it's enough that her range advantage isn't oppressive, and we get to see them find the shove and are able to help assist getting deep wards in to back up 𝘀cie. But now 𝘀𝗀 is on the other side lurking. He's going to find a very pushed up 𝘀 as 𝘁𝗏 is lurking in the shadows. And 𝘀, oh my goodness, friend, you should have probably just died.
Isn't even needed here. But 𝘀𝗀's gonna flash forward. The double slice 𝘀𝗀 Sonic Wait, you gotta land it. You can't miss it. And 𝘀 gives a little Pengu dab under his tower. And 𝘀𝗀, yeah, well, that's a little bit off.
Devastating. Like I would have thought the play for a 𝘀 would have been like the correct move is just die to tower, don't give an assist. Nope, he finds a way. He finds a way to outplay 𝘀𝗀 and get out. And with this attention onto the top side, it gives 𝘀𝗀 the opportunity to get onto this dragon. The bot lane, it's resetting, so this could turn into a dangerous play for 𝘀𝗀. And you can see he's still gonna go for it. But he needs support from his lanes very soon, because, yeah, 𝘀𝗀's just running right down there. He's coming. Oh, but 𝘀𝗀. No, they're going to pull off the dragon entirely, because neither of the...
Oh, okay.
Alright. Bye, 𝘁𝗏. So much for the 𝘁𝗏 1v9, I suppose.
𝘀 didn't even have ult for that.
Nope. He didn't use it, that's for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Let's take a looky. Just walks right into him, gets run down, it seems, but just he's taking a solid trade. But the healing that comes out from the 𝘀conqueror plus the 𝘁𝗏 just means 𝘀 is able to just runs him down.
Okay. Meanwhile, we've got a fight in the bottom lane, 3v2. Shogun says, "All right, 𝘀𝗏, I'm off. I'm on vacation. You enjoy playing 1v2. Artemis will not get hooked, and Artemis will get the kill."
Yeah, donated the kill over to Artemis. That's what you want to see. It got a little bit spicy as the minions were doing a lot of damage to the 𝘀𝗀, but it's picked up in the end. It's fantastic. They're going to be able to get the push in and reset as well. So it's all 4 summoners in the bot side blown. Artemis still has heal in case things get dicey in another round. But yeah, we see it's actually an engage onto Artemis, but 𝘀𝗀 is able to respond with a good lantern from 𝘁𝗏 to bring him in. And they just, yeah, Shogun's just like, yeah, look, all right, I'm not going to die. I'm going to sacrifice my support. Seems fair. And so 𝘁𝗏 on the map, he's had enough. He's going to go find someone who cares.
Cerberus 1k gold up. As you mentioned, 𝘁𝗏 is done with his ADC. Feels betrayed. Gonna see if his mid laner wants him, and 𝘀𝗀 does not. So 𝘁𝗏 in the lonely life now of a roaming support, trying to find plays around the map. And maybe a lonely Artemis could be the play for Saigon Buffalo.
Yeah, but 𝘀𝗀, oh nope, yeah, that's just dead boy. Not even a chance. 𝘁𝗏's lantern way too late. That's a good pick. They find Artemis napping, and that's going to be a pickup, and they can probably turn that into a plate as well with the damage that comes out of this Caitlyn.
𝘁𝗏 also got his revenge on Shogun as well, taking the kill away from his ADC. I don't know how satisfying he found that one.
Yeah, so there is going to be a plate taken down, but the Rift Herald is the target. 𝘀𝗀's just saying, all right, look, I've had enough of bot lane. We're going to just grab this Rift Herald, pile it straight into the top lane, use the pushing power of the 𝘀𝗀s, and just smash through this top lane tower and accelerate the game. That's what they really want to do, as 𝘀𝗀's just getting completely blasted by Yado, utilizing the ultimate just to make sure 𝘀𝗀 can't really approach this objective, can't really help his team make sure it's 100% secured for the side of Cerberus. So not going to quite the kill, as now we see 𝘁𝗏. They're going to be hunting for this red buff. Now they found 𝘀𝗀. Look for the no hook. No hook.
𝘁𝗀𝗆 takes the red and will proceed to walk towards 𝘀𝗀. Trying to work out if 𝘀𝗀 want to make a play towards the top side. Yes, they do, because that's where 𝘁𝗀mise is. Sonic Wave will land onto Unofficial. Oh my god! How do you land that death sentence? We're talking about the perfectly timed plays. That is the best. That is the single best death sentence I have ever seen in my life.
Just end the game. End the game. That's it. Ron wins. MVP to Ron. That was beautiful. That was so good. 𝘁𝗀mise is.
Hang on.
Beauty.
Do I get my swear word pass for that?
I think I don't know. Look
I can't
at
annoy
this.
Carrick.
It's so good. Look at this. It's just
What?
perfect. How do you do that? You madman.
So I take back that 𝘁𝗀ie has made the best support play when he did that thing topside where he headbutted a Xin Zhao that was going to dash in, then he pulverized down an 𝗀𝗀 that was going to dash in. That's better than predicting a flash. Oh my god, Ron OP. However, is it going to be enough? 𝘁𝗀's going to be the focus, dives into 𝘁𝗀ie, Crescent Guard to buy some time, another good death sentence, and 𝘁𝗀ie just bounced around. It's going to be a 1-for-1 because surely 𝘁𝗀 falls, and he does indeed. 𝘁𝗀ie falls for the jungler. Pun in the bottom side, and he's looking to dish out some hurt, but Shogun will get the kill. Caitlyn snipes down the crocodile.
Not able to actually get another 𝘁𝗀 off, find the heal, and it's gonna be power play straight in the mid lane. 𝘂do just pushing freely as players are traded across the map. Yeah, Pun just going super aggressive.
He dabbed too. Oh, he dabbed too early. You can't do that, Mr. Crocodile. And then Shogun just has a field day with him.
So Pun, in the future, I advise against dashing directly onto a trap.
He didn't know it was there, to be fair.
Well, he did dash completely.
Did he dash or did he flash onto her?
He dashed completely the wrong way and then had to flash onto her. So,
Oh, 𝘂𝗀. This is not the game for 𝘂𝗀. This is the game where 𝘂𝗀 gets bullied. Flash over the wall. 𝘁𝗀mise. Was that calculated?
I don't know.
Surely not.
But this bot lane just on point with their skill shots today. Oh my goodness, TenSWAT should never have been anything into a 1-for-1. Beautiful stuff coming out of this bot lane. My god, 𝘁𝗀mise, he's loving it. He's feeling himself today. He got his 𝘁𝗀 game.
I'm not looking at 𝘂𝗀, I'm just looking at 𝘀𝗀ie and when the Jinx ult is fired.
So yeah, it's fired now, and there's no way.
Oh, no! No, 𝘀𝗀ie! Oh! Oh no! It wasn't even gonna hit him.
Topside, Pun gets the first tower. I assume a Rift Herald was invested up there. Wait, yes, of course it was. It was invested early when Jinx was up there. But yeah, so first brick over to Pun, but what this game, man?
I can't anymore. Spoons, can you take over for me?
Alright, so we're gonna see Ron just holding the lane for 𝘁𝗀mise, feeling a little bit betrayed at how slow his man's taken. But how do we go from here? What do we have next? It's 4 minutes till the next dragon. That's still a couple minutes. It's about the same amount of time for the next Rift Herald. We don't really have anything to play for, so we're gonna have to be looking towards these junglers to see if they want to get anything done. If not, well, it's going to be a bit of ping pong, but I really want to see I really want to see this focus go towards this bot side. Maybe we can try and see 𝘀𝗀ie get a little bit punished because 𝘂𝗀 has just been chunking this man out over and over again, and if he just gets a little bit of support from his team, he could definitely just create the opening that allows him to take tower. But in this top side, 𝘁𝗀mide's in trouble.
𝘁𝗀mide is in trouble. Ego is here looking to jump onto 𝘁𝗀mide. Does exactly that. Shuriken flip will take 𝘁𝗀mide out to safety, but Ego won't be able to land. Wind becomes lightning, doesn't need it, just dashes onto the 𝘁𝗀i anyway. 𝘁𝗀 trying to dish out the damage onto Pun and will be able to pick up the kill. 𝘁𝗁mide buying so much time with the snake guard, won't be able to keep him alive. 𝘁𝗀 on the run, looking to ward hop on out. 𝘀𝗀ie is here. Sonic Wave lands.
𝘂𝗀, he's gonna get the speed shrine. So no ref. it's enough. But in the bot side as well, Shogun was picked up by the bot lane of Cerberus, and they're going to pick up a tower as well. Red buff also going to be donated over to Ego as they can steal it away, 𝗀𝗀 being chased out of his jungle. Great stuff from them. It's a bit of a shame that we saw Pun die in that skirmish. And what's this? How does this happen? Does Ron do something? Does Shogun just get way too over-aggressive? Shogun just gets way too over-aggressive and just is not able to match the damage of Artemis right now. And we're just going to see Yell run around. No, we're not. Cool, good.
Can I just point out as well? I just want to point out as well that Ego's first item was a frozen fist. I don't think I've seen that on.
Oh yes,
Zao.
yes.
Yeah.
The Tank Zao. It's been a thing for him, but
Yada. Oh Yada. You're not going to be allowed to play this game. There's a teleport coming in, but Pod, _I don't think you want to join it. Actually, 𝘀𝗀 might just get sacrificed here. You can take this, but Ego is on the way now. It's going to become a 2v3. 𝘀𝗀 back up, but he is greeted by Artemis's rocket. Merry Christmas!
Yeah, so it has been a move that Ego. So bringing up the tanks in Zao, it's something that they've done before. It's Ego playing fully for his team, and that's something I really love to see, because when he plays a little bit for himself, that's when you start to see the mistakes come and see him just wandering into the jungle like a little bit of a numpty. But when he's playing for his team, he looks so much cleaner. Look at him right now, 5-1 and 3, beautifully just popping off. He's everywhere he needs to be, reacting beautifully to the plays from Buffalo ever since the second gank onto the mid lane from 𝗀𝗀.
And now 𝘀𝗀 going over to Cerberus as well. A 5,000 goal lead for them, and Saigon Buffalo is looking to be rather dire for them. And for Saigon Buffalo and their playoff hopes, that's the important thing. Saigon Buffalo trying to make playoffs. 𝘀𝗀 already won earlier today, and now it's looking like Saigon Buffalo, they have to beat 𝗀𝗀 on Sunday. If they don't, they cannot make it. And even if they do, it still rests on whether 𝘀𝗀 can take a win over Cerberus. If Cerberus beat 𝘀𝗀 and Saigon Buffalo can beat 𝗀𝗀, then Saigon Buffalo can make playoffs because they have the 2-0 head-to-head. But if both teams lose come Sunday, it will be 𝘀𝗀 making a win. Becomes Lightning, tagging onto 𝘁𝗲, Shuriken flipping over the wall. Does he look for anything more perfect execution to take himself back under his tower? As Shogun again kills Pun.
Yeah, it's a 4-man booty gang in the top side. They find Pun.
Artemis cancelled 3 backs. Artemis cancelled 3 backs with the rocket, and now 𝘁𝗲 taken down. The Rift Herald still pushing, an inner tower will fall. Artemis going to get the inner tower in the mid lane. Saigon Buffalo offering so much.
And look at this. What is Pun meant to do? There's 4 men, but Taki's just gonna walk up and ult the guy, and then he just gets gunned down by Shogun. It's ridiculous. They got the charge of the Rift Herald onto the inhibitor turret. They didn't take it down, which is fair enough. It's 17 minutes into the game. It's still so early, and they gotta pick up this Cloud Drake. Okay, the Cloud Drake's a little bit delayed, but it's an Infernal Soul now, and now we're going to want to see a little bit more fights every 5 minutes as Cerberus are going to try and stack these up.
So when I asked the question at the end of Game 1 before we were going into draft of Game 2, which was this uber-aggressive style, this very scrappy style of play, and asking, does it favor Saigon Buffalo or Cerberus? I think it's definitely favoring Cerberus. This has just looked... It looked desperate from Saigon Buffalo. They're throwing everything to find one pick, and Cerberus say, okay, well, we're just going to collapse on whatever random dive you did. You get 1 kill, we'll take 3.
Yeah, look, I mean, trying to overload one side of the map when you're behind and take a pick is generally a good idea if you time yourself right and make sure you're not giving up everything on the other side of the map. But the problem is, in the other 2 waves that they weren't overloading, there was a pushing Jinx and a push with a Rift Herald. So they just got so much free gold in exchange for 1 kill. And now 𝘁𝗲, once again, going to be bullied into submission by Yado. He's doing a lot of damage.
Oh, hang on, 𝘁𝗲. Can he get the final 5-point strike? He's trying to get into range. He's got it. 𝘁𝗲 in the 1v2, takes the blast. Goes to the rescue. 𝘁𝗲 still knows how to play 𝘀𝗀. It doesn't matter if he's 0-4. 𝘁𝗲 ain't going nowhere near that 𝗀𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗀 needs to be careful. 𝘁𝗀𝗃 with a flash picks up the kill, but 𝘀𝗀𝗃 able to get the other kill on the top side. Is 2 for 1 overall. Okay, that was pretty good from 𝘁𝗀𝗃.
All right, 𝘁𝗃's Smurfing. 𝘁𝗃's online. He's got the Rift Maker. He is off to the races. We are good to go. But now we're seeing these two pushing waves again. They're overloading one side of the map, but the other two are controlled by 𝘀𝗏. It's going to be a pick up of this inhibitor. It's 100 gold into the pockets of Pun, but that's overall. Look, it's not a big win. I think it's still a huge gold injection to the side of Buffalo. As we see, how do we start this off? It's actually Shogun just trying to jump onto 𝘁𝗏, but look at that heal. The shield is enough as well, and then 𝘁𝗏 is able to just finish it off with the flash auto.
Shogun played that pretty well as well.
Yeah, he played that about as well as he could. Got the drop onto him as well. Here's 𝘁𝗏 going to shut them off, and good hook. Can they follow it up? Do they want to?
𝘁𝗏 is on his way. 𝘁𝗏 has a perfect execution available. Teleport from 𝘀𝗏, but the dominance has already been procced for Pun. Once that goes down, all of a sudden, 𝘀𝗏 lose a little bit of strength. But the Caitlyn trap starting to be dropped down. 𝘀𝗏 now focusing towards 𝘁𝗏. Oh, pardon me, that's not on 𝘁𝗏. That's on 𝘬𝗏. 𝘁𝗏 is just free firing all the while. 𝘁𝗀𝗃 looking for something potentially onto Ego. 𝘀𝗏 from one side, but now he's just going to get focused down, flayed down, surely taken down as well. Goes to buy a little bit of time. What can Shogun do? He's going to be able to get the kill onto 𝘬𝗏, but that is not going to be enough. 𝘁𝗏 still full HP. 𝘁𝗏 with a double buff, and 𝘁𝗏 with the double kill.
All right, overall, it's a 1 for 3. They get the jungler. They go straight towards the Baron. This fight was a very premature one over the Dragon Pit, but here we go. 𝘁𝗏 is being kept out by Pun. Now we can just turn onto it as 𝘁𝗏 able to just chunk through this. This man is very fed. He's got his Gale Force. He's well off to the races. He's gonna burn straight through this. It's gonna be a huge pickup. 𝘬𝗏 should spawn in time, and they can look to turn that into an even bigger advantage. Probably look to secure a few more pushing lanes, try and knock out that final outer tower, and then set up for the dragon so they can keep this stacking going. And this fight was a bit of a mess at the start. Let's be honest. But 𝘀𝗏 completely isolated, walks just too close. He doesn't have the range to keep safe. And so they collapse on the weak part of the stack. They kill 𝘀𝗏, and this reset lets 𝘁𝗏 pop off and remove Shogun as well. Lee Sin dying in the process. Opens up the Baron. It's fantastic. And now we can just take this reset, take this opportunity to make sure the waves are pushing out roughly at the same time, and it should all be coming together perfectly for 𝘀𝗏. Dragon in 30 seconds. So this is actually going to be the fight.
This is going to be the fight that could potentially determine the game as well. If 𝘀𝗏 can get a clean ace, it might be game. Right, the kick onto Pun, trying to buy as much space as they can, but they're not going to be able to get anything from it. Now 𝘁𝗏 looking towards the fight. It's going to be a 3-man knockup from the death trap. 𝘁𝗏's just going in it. 𝘁𝗏 just dying. And now Ego looking to turn things around. 𝘁𝗏 and 𝘁𝗏 engaging. 𝘁𝗏 is low, but 𝘁𝗏 does not care. The rockets will begin to fly. There's a Realm Warp, but the Realm Warp will not be able to take them fully out of safety. Shogun has fallen. 𝘁𝗏 has already gone to the mid lane to start pushing the wave in. And 𝘁𝗏, there is nowhere for you to go. 𝘀𝗏 just have to decide who gets the kill. And in the end, it is 𝘬𝗏 who picks it up. 𝘁𝗏 still pushing in the mid lane. All the while, Ego just picking up the Drake.
Fairly sure Shogun just got hit by the old Fnatic Rise portal there, as gets left behind to his devices, and his devices say he dies now. So Ego's going to pick up this dragon. They pick up, they clear out the mid lane wave, and they're going to rotate and take this turret in the top side, pick up that 600 local gold, bring that into 𝘁𝗏's pockets, and this man is just getting further and further ahead. He was reduced so low, but considering 𝘁𝗏 was deleted instantly, he felt he was still able to rein in the rockets from on far. And look at this, 𝘁𝗏, he goes in, and after, must be said, a beautiful knockup from 𝘁𝗏, but he's just deleted. He's just gone. And honestly, look, 𝘁𝗏 played that fight beautifully, finding that extra hook onto 𝘁𝗏, but
don't forget, he
couldn't do anything.
They
didn't have any damage, and yeah. And then, walled off by Pun and 𝘬𝗏, and they run him down. Poor 𝘁𝗏. He did his best, but there's nothing a little man with his big mining anchor can do at the end of the day.
I mean, I just want to point out that Nautilus is one of the biggest champions in the game. like second only to, I think, Aurelian Sol and Malphite.
He's a little guy.
I wouldn't call him a little man.
He's just a little guy.
A little guy. He's a support. Okay, 𝘀cie and 𝗃𝗀. They're waiting.
Oh,
Did they
no.
get spotted out? Oh, Yado. They're waiting. This is like a CSGO play right now, where you just sit and wait. You don't kill the first person who comes by.
To be honest,
Well, that was pointless, wasn't it?
well, yeah, I mean, they knew Ego was there, and they're like, well, we can't actually kill Yado.
They could have bursted him.
crown.
Okay, sure, it is a crown.
He's got a
Okay,
crown, so they probably could before Ego returns.
No,
and
don't
they
go that
just
way. Don't
nuke
go that
him.
way. There's a control ward. There's a control ward. Sends. Okay, the control ward is gone. Now they can go. If
Alright.
they make this work.
The sneakiest boys. Here
Oh,
comes the
they've
ground
been
wall.
spotted! They dropped the kick. They're looking for Artemis. The plan has worked. Artemis is down, but is it enough? But look at Pun, not Boss. Pun is split pushing in the bottom lane, and 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 can't 𝘁𝗀 to contest it. 𝘀𝗀 now
Yado?
trying to get onto Yado. Pun is making his way on in as 𝘁𝗀 goes golden. Good death sentence, finding its mark onto 𝘀𝗀. 𝘀𝗀 is going to fall. Cerberus will win the fight. They get Artemis, but it was not enough. And now that Cerberus win the fight, Cerberus can look for the end. 𝗃𝗀 going to be able to find one now. He's looking for Yado. He misses the Sonic Wave. Otherwise, that was a guaranteed kill for the jungler.
Yeah, picking up the turret. On top of that, it's only 𝗃𝗀 left. Can Ego and Pun probably not going to be able to do... Okay, they feel confident enough to wail upon this turret. Yado is going to reset, and now he's coming back in. They're going to pick up another inhibitor. They can maybe look to convert it into a third as well, with the wave sort of starting to crash in. 𝘁𝗀 is back up, though, and he only really has Yado to deal with this time around. Doesn't have that perfect execution, though, so has to be a little bit careful. Yeah, Artemis on the wrong side of the map. 𝘀𝗀 teleported in.
Wants to be able to lock Pun down, but unable to do so. Can't quite get in range for the rune prison. And you speak about perfect execution. That was perfectly executed practically from 𝘀𝗀 and 𝗃𝗀. Getting onto Artemis, but they're just so far behind, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we're pushing the 13k mark. So it's a little bit rough on the side of SGB that they can find a beautiful kick onto Artemis, remove him from the fight at the very start, and still just end up losing because Yado is still a massive threat on 3-item Victor. But look across at Mr. Artemis. He's on 4 items, and he's got a stopwatch in back pocket as well, waiting for that 5th.
He's also got he's got the Hex Drinker, the Malmortius
yes.
as well, just to deal with 𝘁𝗀 and 𝘀𝗀.
Yeah, and look, I mean, 𝘁𝗀's the big threat. He's picked up that Shadow Flame as his second item, so that should help a little bit against that Maw Shield that's going to come through. But 𝘁𝗀 lurking around, hanging out in the bushes, has to be a little bit careful. Don't want to fall victim to 𝘀𝗀. Then
𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 defending Cerberus with another push. They're going to look towards the Baron. They've got the Infernal in 40 seconds. They pick up either of those, and all of a sudden, the next fight could very well be the final fight of this game, the final fight of this series. 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 trying to keep their hopes alive of playoffs, trying to keep a realistic hope of playoffs alive. But in goes 𝘁𝗀. He had to go in because the Shurelias hadn't been dropped. Pun will go in the middle of a 3. 𝗃𝗀 just getting run down. The Sterex will get dropped, and 𝘁𝗁 perfect executing back into the fight. Not going to be able to find anything more, and everyone from 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 is just falling. Absolutely nothing they
teleport
can
to the
do.
base. Punch is going for the end.
Yeah, Punch is going for the end. There's going to be absolutely no way for Shogun to back and contest this. And it is 2-on-1. In fact, Shogun will be going back to the base, but he will be going back to the base in the Death Realm. Pun, he's just buying time. He's just having a little bit of fun on the Crocodile. He got abused early on, and he wants 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 to taste
Artemis has
the
a
pain.
grudge.
Artemis has a grudge. Everyone has a grudge from Cerberus. I don't know why. They kind of dumpstered 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 in game 1 after they gave away a Chemtech Soul. Artemis wants to kill 𝘀𝗀. He wanted revenge for the little flank cheese play that 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 tried, but Cerberus will take the game. Cerberus will stay undefeated in the VCS Winter Split, and they just have one more series to stay undefeated for the entirety of the regular season.
BTS looking across at Cerberus and saying, "Thank you. Now can we beat you?" So things just got hard for Buffalo. They came in, they lost this game.
Yep.
They have one more shot, and they are desperately hoping Cerberus does the same thing to BTS that they did to them today.
Yeah. And there is still the chance Saigon Buffalo still technically kind of hold their fates in their own hand if they can find that win over GAM on Sunday, and if Cerberus are able to beat 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀. But with that, we'll bring our analyst Tim back into the equation. Tim, Cerberus, well, 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗋 specifically looked like an absolute monster in this game.
Yeah, him and the Thresh were dominating, but I think what was what I have to say is that Cerberus isn't looking as clean as they could. I think in this game they still had a huge part, about 5 to 7 minutes in the first 15, where they were just giving up kills for no reason, overextending consistently, and I think that's something to look at and say maybe that's what they have to fix going into playoffs as well. But other than that, I think it was a strong game all around, and especially, as you said, Ron, he was really smurfing it.
And maybe this Cerberus team should be fairly comfortable going 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀, especially from what we saw 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 doing in that second game of their series against Team Flash.
Yeah, 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 did not put up a very good showing today, and because of that, Cerberus should be fairly confident, I would say, in looking in that undefeated split in terms of series score, which is the first time it's ever happened in the VCS. Not 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 couldn't do it, PvB couldn't do it. They always lost that one. This would be crazy for Cerberus, especially if they continue their playoffs history of just getting knocked out first round. But no, more realistically, I think, yeah, this it wasn't the cleanest we've seen from Cerberus. They do seem to be showing that they can knuckle down, like again in the big important matches that they really care about, like the ones against 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀. But they are willing to goof off a little bit, pick the 𝘁𝗲𝗀 in the worst composition possible, but they still win with it. So I can't criticize them too much, even though I want to. I also don't, because they're winning. So clearly they know better than me.
There's also the argument as well, right? So I'm bringing this in as a tactical thing, and you're both welcome to agree or disagree. But there's the option Cerberus could say, hey, we think Saigon Buffalo are better than 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀. We don't mind if 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 beat us, so that we get to pick 𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 rather than Saigon Buffalo and have an easier semi-final.
I mean, competitive integrity, maybe. I think, and also, I can tell you from experience, like when you come to the end of the split, and you're looking at as the first team who could ever have a perfect season, you're gonna do everything in your power to do that. I mean, you could have said, okay, they're maybe not tryharding because they don't have to. Well, they're looking at a perfect season. They're probably going to be the most tryhard they have been the entire season, because there's so much on the line for them. Just having that extra wrinkle to their split. Yes, it's only the winter split. Yes, maybe not every team is as strong as they would be if something like World Spot was on the line. But still, I think they're going to be very happy taking that 14-0, and I think they're going to be fighting for that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Maybe if they had dropped this series against Saigon Buffalo, they could have had a bit of a want to do that, especially if they had lost to Saigon Buffalo, because that would be the only team who had defeated them over the split so far. 𝘁𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗀, thoughts on MVP before we wrap things up?
𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, look, he was the big boy in game one, and he still put on a pretty fantastic performance game too. He wasn't like this, he didn't have any like superstar standout plays, but he was pumping out enough secondary damage that I feel he gets the nod, that it didn't discredit him enough to take out the points from that first game.
But
honorable mentions to Ron though.
Tim, your thoughts on MVP?
I have to agree. I think for me, a question coming into this game day for Cerberus, or this week for Cerberus, going into playoffs, I think was we know Ron OP is insane and has huge games. We know Ego is a really good player. Yes, he has some off games, but overall, a really good player. Artemis, of course, is insane. We know that Pun isn't probably going to carry the team, but he's solid enough, and I think he's shown that today. But I think the big question mark for me was, can 𝘀𝗀 be primary carry? What happens if Artemis has that one off game? And I think today, basically, especially in game 1, 𝘀𝗀 showed that, well, even if Artemis isn't on 100%, he can take over. He can deal the damage. And I think the MVP for today is 𝘀𝗀, and I think he deserved it. And I think if he keeps showing these performances, those weak spots that Cerberus was showing are slowly gonna disappear, because Pun is just solid. He doesn't have to do anything but not int. And then you have really strong support stuff in jungle and support, and 2 very good carries. And I think at that point, I don't see a way how Cerberus loses.
Okay. Well, Cerberus are looking phenomenally strong. But that does bring our games from today to a close. We will be returning, though, back tomorrow with 2 more series. 𝘀𝗀cie against SBTC Esports and Team Secret against 𝘀𝗀. 2 teams at the top of the standings against 2 teams towards the bottom end of the standings. From myself, 𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀, Tim, and our producer, 𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀, thank you very much for tuning in to the VCS English. We'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.